He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So, of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bankin. It all comes down to one game in the American League Division Series tonight. It will be the Mariners and Tigers playing in Seattle, with the winner advancing to the ALCS. Seattle manager Dan Wilson talked about playing in a winner-take-all game.
They take out an excitement of their own, and this is what we play for. This is the excitement of postseason baseball. This is the excitement for any player that's been through it.
The winner will get the Blue Jays in the ALCS. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio with our coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern. Tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio, our coverage starts with Game 5 of the Cubs and Brewers from Milwaukee. To the NFL, Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray was back in practice despite a foot injury. No word yet on if he'll play Sunday against the Colts. The Buccaneers will be without running back Bucky Irving and receiver Chris Godwin Jr. when they play the 49ers on Sunday. Bengals receiver Jamar Chase left practice early because of an illness. Cincinnati plays Green Bay on Sunday. The Browns have announced Shedeur Sanders will be the number 2 quarterback behind fellow rookie Dylan Gabriel. WNBA Finals continue tonight in Phoenix. Vegas goes for the title and a sweep. That game will be on ESPN with coverage beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Monday from NFL to college football and, of course, Major League Baseball postseason. I'll recap it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Glad to have you with us on this Football Friday. Alondra's with me on site. Muse and Cassie Spazzali. They're back in studio. We're pumped to have you here as we count you down to Tigers, Gamecocks, Saints, and Patriots from the Dome. My goodness, do we have a ton to do. Phil Steele in 15 minutes from right now. We'll have Jordan Rodgers next hour. He'll be on the call. We'll have Dari Nowkhah coming up in hour number 3. We got a plumb ton to do. Let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
We all know LSU coming off their open date. There is one question we all want answered, and we have had to sit here and chew on this disgusting Ole Miss loss for 2 weeks now. We've had to sit here for 2 weeks and analyze and overanalyze and discuss and opine and wonder, is Garrett Nussmeier really hurt? Can they run the football? Is the offensive line terrible? Is it Joe Sloan's fault? And we have just been in this spin cycle of an echo chamber of the same stupid conversation for 2 weeks without any type of answer, resolution, or advancement. Well, Saturday, we get to advance the conversation. Now, I'm going to be completely transparent, not that I would ever lie to you. I told you before the Ole Miss game that I was willing to be patient with this offense because I understood the logic into why it was slow to start. I could buy the reasoning that, hey, look, 5 new starters on the offensive line. You're on the road at Clemson, night, tough environment. You want to be a little more conservative, have Nuss, lean on the defense and have Nuss protect the football and be efficient. You want to get it. Florida comes in, same thing. The only thing that could wreck the game, like what happened a year ago in Gainesville, was that defensive front ruining your day. Florida wasn't moving the football, so you punt, you play defense, field position, you get out of there with a win. I could buy that. And then we saw them be explosive against Southeastern. I'm not concerned about Southeastern, the score, because it's an FCS team. I mean, just watching Nuss do the things that we thought he could do physically. And I said, but look, you go to Ole Miss, who I watched Ole Miss getting a quagmire against an awful Kentucky team. I watched Ole Miss give up 500 yards to Arkansas. Like, you go to Ole Miss and struggle to move the ball against that sorry defense, I'm going to change my tune. And so I've spent 2 weeks not preaching anything to you about how good this offense is, can be, was, don't matter. The reality is you played 5 games. You are not good on offense. And you've now had a week off, 2 weeks to get healthy, the healthiest you'll have been since you started the season, and 2 weeks to try to figure out if you can get anything going in this run game, anything going on the offensive line. And I don't know the answer to that. I'm not here to make any bold prediction about what will happen in that respect. All I know is I got a 5-game sample to know what this team is offensively, and what it is not very good. But I always say in every sport, teams are allowed to improve as the season goes along, and that's no different for this LSU offense. They are allowed to improve. I think the offensive line will develop more continuity. I think as you get healthier, you could certainly be better. I don't want to minimize the absence of Caden Durham against Ole Miss and how that might have limited your willingness to run the football, because, my goodness, they were not very willing to run the football against Ole Miss. So Brian Kelly meets with reporters on Thursday after practice, and he's asked about this team being conservative offensively. And I'm going to give you some past context, but this is what Brian Kelly said about his offense on Thursday night, if they're maybe planning to open things up a little bit more.
You know, if you look at the way we played the game the last 2 games, it's been much more aggressive on 4th down. You know, I feel like our offense is ready to break out. I don't want to hold them back from that perspective, that we go in with this mindset of punt it deep, hold them down there, wait for a turnover. I don't think we're going to play that way. We're going to play to the assets that we have on offense. So I'm not going to go into the game thinking, you know, this is a low-scoring game. Keep the points down, kick field goals. I think we go in there with the expectations, kind of the question that was asked earlier, is that my expectations are we're going to continue to progress offensively and be much more consistent for 4 quarters.
Okay. Progress offensively, be more consistent. We're not going to go into it saying punt, play field position. He says, you know, they've been more aggressive on 4th down for what it's worth. Against Clemson, LSU went for 1 4th down in that game. They missed it. They were 0 for 1 in that football game. Against Florida, I'm not really concerned about Louisiana Tech or Southeastern Louisiana. Against Florida, LSU did not attempt a 4th down. They were 4 of 14 on 3rd down and did not go for it once on 4th down. Then you look at the Ole Miss game. Now, there were scenarios where late in game you had to be a little more aggressive, and LSU was 2 for 2 on 4th down in that game. They were 2 for 11 on 3rd down, but they were 2 for 2 on 4th. So he's not lying. They did go for it a little bit more than they did at the beginning of the season. So that's worth mentioning. But I want to remind you, this is not me saying it. These are Brian Kelly's words. After that ugly offensive performance against Florida, where you force 5 turnovers and your offense only scores 13 points, and there was the dust up in the postgame, Brian Kelly said in the postgame, like, the way they played offensively was intentional. Listen.
We did whatever was necessary to win the game. Defensively, obviously, the 5 turnovers, playing to our defense. Grant Chadwick was outstanding. I'm sorry that that doesn't sound appealing to you folks, but I really don't care. We're trying to win football games. We flipped field position. I think he had 4 inside the 20. He was our weapon on offense today, and that's how we needed to win the game. We came up with a big play with the run at the end of the game to salt it away, and just really, really pleased with our guys and the way they handle things.
How defiant. I mean, that was after Florida when you won 2010. I'm sorry that doesn't look appealing to you, but I don't really care. He's trying to win football games, whatever it took. And on that day, you knew Lagway was not moving the football, so we're not giving them a short field by going for it and being aggressive. We're going to punt play. It reminds me of that game that was Milesian at its finest or worse. That game against Auburn, I believe it was 2012. LSU won like 12-9 or something like that. And it was a game I'll never forget. Auburn was a miserable football team that year. LSU won the game on the road. and they didn't even try offensively because they knew they could play defense, and Auburn was not moving the football. And Miles in the postgame press conference just defiantly, punt it again, just punt it again. That defense, you kidding me? Just punt it again. And they won the game, if that's the objective. And you can win games that way. You cannot win championships that way. Eventually, you're going to have to bust out. Remember, I asked Brian Kelly this after Clemson. It was the Monday after Clemson. I said, hey, look, because you had, in previous years, 2023, Jaden Daniels, man, you got to be aggressive because your defense ain't going to stop anybody. You got to go for it. Are you, I asked him again after Clemson, are you maybe going to change your strategy a little bit with this team because of how good your defense is? This is what he said.
It did during the game, actually. That's why we punted from our own 40 going in. We punted the 40 because our defense analytics would have had us going for it at that time. But I love the way our defense, I don't like the way we pinned the football. We'll have to get better there on our sky kicking. But that was exactly to your question. That's why we punted the football there from the 40-yard line.
So Brian Kelly was telling you early in the season, they were changing their approach. Not my opinion, his words. They were changing their approach offensively with how they were trying to win games. Okay, and then you get clipped against Ole Miss, and now going into this game, he's telling you point blank, we're not going in there just to play defense and field position and punt the ball. We've got to be aggressive. Why? Because eventually there's going to be a game where you're going to have to be aggressive to win the game to get where you want to be. Because you could play this approach you're doing right now, and you can win 8-9 games, but nobody here is going to be pumped about this team winning 8-9 games and ended up in the Gator Bowl. The objective is, how do you get in the college football playoff, be playing your best in December, January, and try to go win a national championship? The defense is good enough, the special teams is good enough, and you have a quarterback who has proven in his college career that he can be good enough. And you've got plenty of good, skilled guys on the outside. Your offensive line is a work in progress, but eventually you're going to have to throw them into the deep end and say, are you going to sink or can you swim? And this feels like one of those games where you got to do it because your defense is going to be plenty good enough in this game to pin down a bad offense. So let's see if they can get going. I'm not going to predict it's going to happen, but Brian Kelly's telling you point blank, there is a contrast in what he's saying now and what he was saying in the first month of the season with how they're trying to approach this offensively. And we're going to find out Saturday if it's going to work. So we'll talk plenty about LSU and South Carolina as we move throughout the show today. We are here live at Don Juan Cigar Bar and thrilled to have you aboard with us on this Football Friday. We're brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. Y'all, the weekend is here. So many people now, when you're buying a vehicle, you shop online before you ever go to the dealership. That's why South Point Volkswagen's website is so user-friendly. Year, make, model, body style, price, new, certified pre-owned, finance, and you can do it all online. Literally every vehicle that's on the lot is online at SouthPointVW.com. Could not be easier. Go to SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. When you go search the inventory, it says it right there, 201 vehicles on the lot right now on Airline just north of Highland. Go find your next ride at SouthPointVW.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? Okay, y'all, rolling through this Friday edition. Y'all come hang out with us here at Don Juan, man. Knock off of work. It's a beautiful day. TVs everywhere. Have a craft cocktail, a beer, a premium cigar. Fade, slip into your weekend, this football weekend. Great chance to come by here and hang out at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Also, our friends from Don Juan are going to be at Tiger Stadium tomorrow with our friends from Bocock Brothers Cigars, set up right outside of the PMAC. So you want to go learn more about Bocock Brothers, or they'll be hand-rolling cigars out there. Awesome opportunity to get you a fine premium cigar, meet the folks from Bocock Brothers and the folks from Don Juan Cigar Bar for LSU in South Carolina, right in front of the PMAC between Mike's Cage and Tiger Stadium. Okay, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll come back. Phil Steele, our weekly chat previewing the biggest games of the college football weekend. Tailgate segment ahead. Jordan Rodgers, a little more than an hour from right now. We have a ton to do. Glad you're hanging out with us on a Football Friday edition of AFR Live from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by Clegg's Nursery, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Dedham. Mid-City on Donmore and the Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. I tell you every single day to buy local and shop local, to bypass the big box stores, to forget about the big orange and blue box stores, and support a great local business that's supported our community for 6 decades, and that's Clegg's Nursery. Also, encourage you always, get on their Facebook page if you want to see all of the things that they have to offer. the fall decor displays, the fall bedding plants and flowers. They just got a new shipment of camellias. If you want to check those out at Clegg's, it's time to plant that fall garden. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, collards, mustards, cauliflower. They got it all at Clegg's Nursery. So go by and see the friendliest staff, and make sure you tell them Matt sent you in when you go shop today at Clegg's Nursery.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
When I say October is the best month of the year, it's because of weekends like this. You got the NFL, you got Major League Baseball playoffs, you've got the NHL, the NBA getting ready to start as well, and you have the best, most delicious college football slate we have seen yet this year. Who better to talk about it than Phil Steele? Of course, PhilSteele.com, S-T-E-E-L-E, PhilSteele.com, the Phil Steele College Football Magazine, the Phil Steele Plus Tour on YouTube. So many ways you can get Phil's content. You get him here every Friday on AFR. Phil, how are you?
You know, I am doing great, Matt. How about you?
Doing awesome. Fired up about this weekend because it starts early and goes all the way through the night. We have great games in every single slot that are going to maybe shape some of these conference races. And it starts with big 12:15 kickoff with Ohio State and Illinois. Buckeyes have been really good, Phil. They're 14.5-point favorites. But, man, in Champaign, that feels like a lot of points. How do you see it there on Fox in the morning?
Yeah, I'm going to lean with Illinois plus the points in this one. You know, their offensive line did struggle at Indiana and in the first half against Duke, but they've been better at home. Go look at the USC game. USC came in, I believe, number 2 in the country in TFLs. They had just one TFL against that offensive line. If the offensive line continues to play this way, and Bielema usually has a pretty good offensive line, then I think the offense can keep this one closer than expected. Defensively, there are question marks in the secondary for Illinois, and of course, Ohio State's wide receiving core is among the nation's elite. But I think with this game being on the road, Illinois fired up. I'm going to take Illinois plus the points in this one.
One that everyone here is going to be keenly interested. Back-to-back emotional wins for Alabama at Georgia, home against Vandy. Now they go to Missouri, and Eli Drinkwitz's squad's coming off a bye. Phil, Missouri's looked really good, man, but this will clearly be a different level of competition. Mizzou's a 2.5-point home dog. That line looks like it's come down a little bit. What say you, Bama maybe on a little bit of upset alert?
You know, I think if you look at this game on paper, Matt, you'd have to say, wow, Missouri, because they're averaging 5.9 yards per carry. The defense is holding opponents to 166 yards per game below their average. Hardy's one of the best running backs in the country. Pabula's having a fantastic year with a 9-3 ratio. But you take a look at who these two teams have played, and the schedule difference is humongous. And I just think Alabama's got more talent. You go back to last year's game, Alabama rolled in that one 34-0 at home, and this is a different Alabama team too. I think they're very capable of going on the road, getting the win. I like the way Ty Stimson's throwing a ball against better competition. He's got a 13-1 ratio. Getting Jam Miller back at running back, I thought was huge the last 2 weeks, and Miller's looked really good. And then they've, of course, got the receiving core with Bernard, Williams and company, and I look for Alabama to go on the road and actually get this one a lot more comfortable than the number would indicate.
Well, I hope that you are dead wrong, Phil. I don't blame the pick, though. One thing that I think most college football fans, Phil, would never think they would ever see is a top 10 matchup in the Big Ten with Indiana at Oregon. But here it is. The 5-0 Hoosiers ranked 7th. The 5-0 Ducks ranked 3rd. Oregon, a 7.5-point home favorite in what obviously is one of the best home environments in college football there at Autzen Stadium. Illinois a live dog there on the road, or do you think Oregon takes care of business?
Boy, what if you would have made that statement 4 years ago, Matt?
Seriously.
We have a Big Ten, top 10 battle between Indiana and Oregon. People would have been, you could have made a lot of money on that one because nobody would have believed you. But I tell you what, we've got two of the best quarterbacks in college football here. Fernando Mendoza is just lighting it up this year. He's hitting 73% with a 16-1 ratio. You look at Dante Moore for Oregon, maybe the best quarterback in the country. I love what he did in the whiteout conditions at Penn State. He's hitting 75% with a 14-1 ratio. I think if Oregon's got a weakness, it might be the defensive secondary is a little young, and I think Indiana should be able to exploit that with Cooper and Surratt. But then again, you look at Oregon's offense, and they're pretty much unstoppable. Had this game been in Indiana, I might put it as a toss-up category.
Oh,
but
wow.
The fact that it's in Autzen Stadium, I would have to have Oregon probably by about 10. So with the spread under 10 in this one, I'm going to lean with the Ducks. They're more battle-tested in the big games, and Indiana's only had 2 big games on the road against top 10 teams, and they lost to Ohio State by 23. And then, of course, Notre Dame, they got 2 late scores down 27-3 in that one. So I'm going to lean with Oregon in this one, but I think it's tough to go against either squad.
Phil, just one quick follow-up. You said it would be a toss-up if it were at Indiana. Is that just Autzen being that much of an advantage, Indiana traveling? Like, to what would you attribute that?
Well, you look at the spread right now. What is it, 7.5?
7.5, yeah.
Yeah, even if you just use a standard 3-point home edge, take away the 3 for Oregon and add the 3 to Indiana,
Sure.
You'd be looking at 1.5. But
Okay.
I think it'd be pick 'em in this respect.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's go to Dallas. My goodness, Phil, if you have a good feel on this, I got to hear it because we have seen this line move Oklahoma, then Texas. It just keeps jumping back and forth. Nobody seems to know if John Mateer is going to play. If he does, how effective is he? As of this moment, it's Texas 1.5. Can you make sense of any of this? Because I'm fascinated to see if you got a good feel on Texas OU.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty high on Oklahoma this year. They're my number one surprise team in the magazine, and they've been living up to that potential. I love the defense. They can get pressure on the quarterback. And really, if you look at Texas, their biggest question mark is the offensive line, where they lost 4 starters from last year, most of them to the NFL. Oklahoma's biggest question mark last year was the offensive line, and Texas took advantage of that, winning 34-3. I think no matter who plays at quarterback, I know Michael Hawkins started last year for Oklahoma, but he was a true freshman, and he's now had that experience. He also was playing behind a banged-up offensive line, and with the receiving core that was down, its top 5 receivers, haven't been blown away with what Arch Manning's done so far this year. They're having trouble protecting them, and I like this Oklahoma defense. And, frankly, Texas's defense surprised me last week, giving up 457 yards to Florida. I thought they were among the nation's best. They still are one of the nation's best defenses, but maybe not to the level I thought. So I think it's going to be a very good game come down the wire, but I'm going to go with the Sooners to pull this one out.
A couple more here before we grab a break with Phil Steele. Of course, he's on Twitter at PhilSteele042. Phil, there's so many games in the Big 12 I'd love to ask you about because that race is just this homogenous blob of like who's great, who might be good, and we'll see how it plays out. But I do want to, just because the line caught my eye, Iowa State 5-1, they're 2-1 in the Big 12, and they're on the road at Colorado. And you've talked about the difference with Colorado playing there at home under Deion Sanders, but this line's only 2.5. So Iowa State maybe on a little bit of upset alert there in Boulder?
I like the Cyclones in this one. I think that people are overreacting a little bit to last week. Last week Iowa State lost their top 2 defensive backs for the season, which was a big loss. They were down actually 6 defensive players in the 2 deep last week, and Cincinnati just rolled them offensively, put up 474 yards. But when I went over the team with Matt Campbell this year, he pointed out to me that last year they were down like 6 or 7 starters mid-season and then got a little bit healthier, but just more adapted. And he liked the depth of the secondary, so I think that after having a rough go against Sorsby last week, I think the secondary will be better prepared for Salter this week. Salter's the type of guy that can throw those interceptions. I think going against a confusing 3-3-5, he will probably do that. I will say this. Colorado last week, that thing was 21-21 against TCU in the fourth quarter. TCU's punting with 5 minutes to go. Ball bounces off the back of a Colorado player. They get a touchdown, score a touchdown on the last play. They played TCU a lot closer in the final last week. But I think off a loss, I'm going to take Matt Campbell and Iowa State to go in there and get the win. And I appreciate the fact that the line's only 2.5.
Okay. Speaking of TCU, let me get one more in about the Big 12. TCU's at Kansas State. It's in the Little Apple, and TCU's a 2.5-point road favorite here. Do you think TCU continues their pace? They're 1-1 in the Big 12, 4-1 overall. It's amazing, Phil. I mean, this Big 12 race is just so hard to pick right now. What do you think about TCU at Kansas State?
This is the one game, Matt, where I don't really have a pick on it for this reason. As I mentioned, TCU was really tight against Colorado, much closer than the final score last week. So I wasn't that impressed with them. And you look at Kansas State, they went through that Ireland thing. Remember what Ireland did to Florida State last year? And you look at this year, they came off the bye, though. They beat UCF. And last week, they could easily have beaten Baylor. I mean, that was a kick a field goal. 2 made field goals, a missed field goal. Had the field goals worked out for them, they would have beaten Baylor on the road. So it really is a good Kansas State team, and I think the team in purple is going to win this one, Matt.
What shade of purple? TCU, Kansas State. Phil will abstain from that one. We'll knock out a quick break and move on into the afternoon and then evening slate, and there's a ton of amazing SEC matchups that we have to dive into, and we'll do it as we continue here with Phil Steele on Football Friday edition of AFR Live from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR
is brought to you by the Watermark and the Renaissance Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. As a matter of fact, last night I was at Renaissance Baton Rouge. I tell you all the time that if you're looking to host an event, there's no better place in Baton Rouge than Renaissance Baton Rouge with their 13,000 square feet of meeting space. So KKDL, Carnival Crew de Louisiana, which is a great fundraiser for Mary Bird Perkins, had an event last night. I was part of that, and they had the big ballroom open, gorgeous, hundreds of people in there. The food catered, your bars, your portable bars. They got everything that you need, whether it's a grand ballroom event for 500 people or anything in between. We had our launch party for LouisianaSports.net at Renaissance Baton Rouge in their Tallulah Terrace area. If you have a need for a board meeting for a dozen people, they can host that as well. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge. No, by the way, that's where the LSU Tigers stay the Friday before home game. So LSU will be at Renaissance today. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to South.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Always appreciate Phil Steele giving us his time here on these Football Fridays to preview the biggest games of the college football weekend. Make sure you get to philsteele.com, S-T-E-E-L-E, philsteele.com. Take that Phil Steele Plus tour, which we'll tell you about here in just a bit. Hey, Phil, let's move into the evening and night slates here. And there's a bunch of SEC games that I want to dive into. Last year, Arkansas pulled a major upset against Tennessee in Fayetteville. This one's in Knoxville. And the Vols are an 11.5-point favorite. But maybe the biggest storyline here, Phil, of course, is that Sam Pittman's been fired. Coming off the bye, it's Bobby Petrino now as the interim head coach. Any type of interim bump for Arkansas here might keep this game closer than they expect?
Well, they've got the offense for it. You know, Taylor Green, ever since like the fifth week last year, has been a very impressive QB. He's really got into the Petrino system. And as you mentioned, a lot of times there is that interim bump. But I think I would have liked Arkansas more had Sam Pittman been the head coach. Pittman was excellent in these type of games where they would take it right down to the wire and always cover. Didn't win a lot of them, but would lose by like 3-6 points, something like that. And now you've got Tennessee playing with legitimate revenge at home, both teams off a bye. I like the way that Aguilar is throwing the football this year, maybe an upgrade over Nico. And I also like the replacements they have at running back and wide receiver. Heupel tends to put it on teams sometimes in the fourth quarter, which you got to like as a head coach. So I'm going to go with Tennessee minus the 12.5 here. I do think it'll be a high-scoring game.
Okay, and Phil, just for the record, I am looking right now at 11.5 too. So maybe shop around. You can get if you want to lay 11.5 instead of 12.5, you can get it right now. Florida big win last week. Every time Billy Napier's up against it, seems like he comes up with something. Now they have to go on the road to Texas A&M, who was mighty impressive in the second half against Mississippi State last week. A&M's a 7.5-point home favorite. Any more magic in that old top hat for Billy Napier?
Yeah, I think they can keep it close, possibly even pull the upset. We'll see what happens here. But you got to love their defense. They have been solid all year long, and you take a look at the offense for Florida. You know, the 5 interceptions against LSU, they had a 23-10 first down edge in that game. And so I think if Lagway can stay away from the interceptions, they have that chance. But A&M is a complete team. I mean, I like Marcel Reed at quarterback. You look at the running back core with Moss, Owens, and Daniels. You look at the receiving core with Craver and Concepcion. The offensive line, one of the best in the country. Defensively, they can get after you. They've got 18 sacks so far this year. They're tough against the run and tough against the pass. They really are a complete team. So tough to go against the Aggies, but Mike Elko has trouble covering a lot of times. He's got a very poor, I think he's only covered 5 of his games so far at Texas A&M. I'm going to lean with Florida plus the points in that one.
All right, 7 and a hook right now with the Gators. The Deep South's oldest rivalry, Georgia at Auburn. So this one's at Jordan-Hare. Maybe a reason why the line is what it is. Georgia laying 3.5, so Auburn catching 3 and a hook at home with the Bulldogs coming in. Is this maybe a spot where the public maybe leans Georgia, but Auburn's got a chance to keep this game closer?
Yeah, and I think Georgia's offensive line is my biggest concern. I was just watching the Georgia-Kentucky game, and those offensive linemen were dropping like flies. You wonder who's going to be healthy in this game and who's not, but you got to think Georgia's going to figure it out. And, you know, probably the one weakness of the Georgia defense so far, they're not getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They've only got 6 sacks so far this year in 5 games, which is atypical for a Georgia team. But I think they're going to find themselves here going against an Auburn offensive line that's allowed 15 sacks the last 2 games. So look for Georgia's defense to get more pressure. I like the way that they run the football with Bowens and Frazier. I think they've got to upgrade at receiver. You look at Branch and Young, and then Gunnar Stockton's a guy that can hurt you with his arm or his legs. Watch this guy on third down. He'll get you a lot of crucial conversions. Georgia really doesn't have a lot of road to give anymore. They lost 1 to Alabama. You don't want to have 2 SEC losses. I think Georgia runs the table the rest of the regular season and gets themselves to the SEC title game. So I'm going to take Georgia in this one and lay the 3.5.
All right, bold pick there for Phil, picking the Bulldogs not to lose again this year. We'll get to LSU.
In the regular season.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yes. Important note, in the regular season to get to Atlanta. Important note. I make sure I clarify. How about Michigan at Southern Cal? This is it's interesting. A lot of people here are interested in Bryce Underwood naturally. He'd been committed to LSU for so long, and there's just that sort of distance intrigue factor. And then there's Southern Cal, who you pointed out all last season, Phil, was just a handful of plays away from maybe being a playoff team. Well, Lincoln Riley seems to have that thing pointed in the right direction right now, and the Trojans are a 2.5-point home favorite over Big Blue. So how do you see it? Does Southern Cal hold serve at home?
Yeah, I like USC in this one, Matt. And you go back to last year's game. USC was winning that thing 24-20.
Yes.
And there was really no way Michigan was going to score. They weren't going to go 80 yards downfield. But then Mullins broke off like a 67-yard run, and all of a sudden they had life. And then on 4th and goal, they score a touchdown, and Michigan pulls the win. Yet another close loss for USC. Remember, they had 5 of them last year. It could easily have been 11-0 at one point. Well, USC's offense and defensive lines are stronger this year, both of them. And especially they got more bulk up front on the defensive side. So I think they'll slow down Michigan even more than they did last year. They're at home. Love the speed they have. Love Wayman Jordan at running back. He's got 7 yards a carry. You look at Lemon and Lane at receiver. Mayava's lighting it up at the quarterback position. They're at home where they play a lot better. They're actually 6-1 against the spread as a home favorite. They're 1-13 when they travel to the East Coast or Central time zones. So you play much better at home. And you've got Underwood going on the road for this one. So I like USC minus the 2.5 to come out of there with the win.
Good numbers there with that. You said 6-1 SC at home. What was the number when they go to the East or Central?
1-13 when they travel to the East or Central. And look at this year. They lost at Illinois and didn't cover against Purdue.
Yeah, fascinating. Always something to file away when you're looking for those angles. One more, Phil, before we talk about LSU, South Carolina. And I know we keep kind of leaning into this Big 12 race, which is so fascinating to see. Here's BYU and Arizona. It's there in Tucson. BYU a 2.5-point road favorite. How do you see that one in a congested Big 12 race?
Well, you got a 5-0 team on the road that's a 2.5 favorite. I'm surprised you didn't mention this one for the possible upset because I'm going to.
Okay.
I haven't been blown away with BYU yet this year. I know Bear Bachmeier's led him to a 5-0 record. He's got a 7-1 ratio, but this is a good Arizona team. And keep in mind, Brent Brennan took over last year at Arizona late, and a lot of his guys left for Washington, and a lot of his recruits left for Washington. Well, now he's got a real team here. And last year, I think Noah Fafita fell into the trap of just looking for Tatori McMillan every single snap, whereas this year he's got a more balanced passing attack. They've got Mahdi coming in at the running back spot who's averaging 6 yards a carry. The defense is actually holding opponents to 126 yards below their average. And, as mentioned, just haven't been blown away with BYU in any of their games this year, even the 21-point win at East Carolina. So I'm going to call for Arizona to pull the upset here.
All right, an outright win there, bear down in Tucson. Phil Steele's with us. Phil, the big one in Baton Rouge. People have been just having the same conversation for 2 weeks. What's wrong with this LSU offense? Can they get it fixed? Well, the odds makers seem to like the Tigers a lot in this one. LSU is a 9.5-point home favorite over South Carolina. You got two struggling offenses so far this year. Tigers, they get it done at home and get back on the right track?
Yeah, coming into the season, Matt, both these teams were considered playoff contenders, but I thought South Carolina was not a playoff contender because of the fact that defensively, that was their strength last year, their defensive front seven. They were dominant at times. And this year they lost 6 of their top 7 guys off the defensive front. So the defense not as good as last year. Offensively, it is Lenora Sellers or bust. I thought South Carolina probably should have beat LSU last year, but this year LSU's the better team. They're at home. It's in Death Valley. I like LSU to win this one by more than the 9.5. I think they'll have a comfortable win, and folks will start perking up there in Baton Rouge.
Well, it's a big October for LSU. They win these next 3 with South Carolina, Vandy, and then Texas A&M. They'll go into their second bye knowing what's on the table as they flip the calendar to November, but it starts Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Phil likes the Tigers to win and to cover. Of course, Phil Steele's with us every single Friday, and we always love to tell you about the Phil Steele Plus Tour, where Phil's just out there slinging out winners and trying to help you pay for your kids' college and all that stuff. Phil, let's remind him again about the Phil Steele Plus Tour and what they get.
Yeah, head over to philsteele.com. Right there on the front menu, you can click on it. It's the Phil Steele Plus Tour with selections. It's on YouTube. You get to watch it. I give you 5 free selections. 6 quick hitters. The quick hitters are 8-2 the last 2 weeks. And you also get a free NFL play. So a lot of free plays and complete reasoning. I click on Phil Steele Plus, show you all the different things I'm talking about, give you complete reasonings so you can play the games with confidence as well. Get yourself some free winners right now. Go to philsteele.com and take the Phil Steele Plus tour.
That's philsteele.com, STEELE. Go to philsteele.com. You'll see the video player embedded right there. The Phil Steele Plus homepage. The video for YouTube is embedded right there. Gives you all the reasoning, and as Phil said, go get some winners. Phil, we appreciate it. We do it every Friday. We'll look forward to chatting again next week.
Have a great weekend, Matt. Always great. Always enjoy the conversation, my friend.
Same here. That is Phil Steele. This is After Further Review. We're at Don Juan Cigar Bar, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. Love telling you about Evermore, EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Drink Evermore. Tell you what, it is the best tasting water you'll ever find. I love when I get great photos from you all, my text line, Twitter, DM, all that good stuff. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. If you haven't tried it, that's my challenge to you. My challenge to you is just try it. Find it at great local retailers. Not sure where you can get it. It's easy. Just go to Evermore.com, hit the store locator, and you'll see the store nearest you where you can snag a bottle of Evermore, or you can order it online. EVAMOR, Evermore.com, Evermore.com. Drink Evermore. Of course, I always have my bottle of Evermore with me on set as I drink it throughout the show. Drink 2 64-ounce bottles of Evermore every single day, and you should as well. EVAMOR, Evermore.com. Okay, y'all, it's a Football Friday edition of AFR. We're live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Our tailgate segment is next. No Terrio today. Georgia Terrio is on the Parkview homecoming court, so Ryan will be escorting his daughter, and we're fired up for them for that. What a great experience. So no Terrio here, but we got plenty. Jordan Rodgers at 4:30. Chris Marler will be here at 5 o'clock. We'll pick the big SEC games of the week with our SEC writer over at LouisianaSports.net, Chris Marler, who also happens to be the Locked on Gamecocks host covering South Carolina. So we'll give us some perspective on South Carolina as well. So ton to do, and glad you're hanging out with us here on the Football Friday edition of AFR, live from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, first, you got to know how much your home is worth. Well, Darren James can help with that. I know you say, I'll go to Zillow, do this estimate. When was the last time Zillow was in your home? Does Zillow know if there's been upgrades in your neighborhood? Does Zillow know if you've redone your windows or fence, outdoor kitchen, patio, whatever it may be, whatever upgrades you might have done, whatever market data might exist? That's why you need agent225.com. Go to agent225.com, agent225.com. There's a home value tab right there. If you're on the home page, it's bottom right. If you're on mobile, just scroll and you'll see where it says home value. All you have to do is type in your address. It's that simple. Just go to home value at agent225.com, agent225.com, hit home value, type in your address, and boom. In seconds, it'll tell you using local market data how much your home is worth. And when you're ready to sell, call Darren James. Agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number one, we are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. I'm glad to have you hanging out with us here. We'll get to our tailgate segment here in just a quick second. I know something we have followed all week, and I've told you we will continue to follow as the story continues to advance. It's the Kairen Lacy story, and we know it was a week ago. It was last Friday when attorney Matthew Ory released his 44-minute sit-down with HTV10 in Homa. There have been several evolutions since then. The state attorney general has opened an investigation. Liz Murrell. Subsequently, the state police released some video of their findings, and this volley back and forth continues. There's a report today up at ESPN that more of the findings of the Lafourche Parish District Attorney have been released, and it's kind of in line with the thing that we've talked about a bit here, which are some of the inconsistencies. The headline grabber is that Lacy reached 88 miles an hour. That's literally in the headline at ESPN. However, nobody's ever disputed that, as we've talked about. We know Kairen was speeding and illegally passing vehicles. No one's ever disputed that. What's new is that the investigation estimates that Lacy was back in the southbound lane, not 72 yards from the accident, as Matthew Ory's conversation said. He was actually 92.3 yards from the site of the accident. So Kairen Lacy again was back in his lane, 92.3 yards from the accident at the time of the accident. The report states that the Kia Cadenza that crashed into Mr. Hall's vehicle was traveling too close behind the pickup truck, quote, which caused her to take evasive action to avoid hitting the back of the truck. Also states that the driver of the Cadenza corrected 75 degrees into the collision into the vehicle with which Mr. Hall was a passenger. She was initially cited. They report, again, this is the Lafourche Parish District Attorney, several inconsistencies by Louisiana State Police, notably that it, quote, gives the impression that Lacy was actively passing vehicles at the time of the collision, quote, which is incorrect. So he was not passing, he was back in his lane. They also note that the video camera, the surveillance footage, that the audio is not synced with the video, and it makes it appear that Lacy was closer to the collision than he actually was. This is some of the stuff, again, and I'm not here trying to convince you one way or another. It just, as this story advances and there's a lot of interest in it, we're going to talk about it. But the thing that I'll keep going back to is there are very legitimate questions about state police's investigation that need to be answered. And I think as concerned citizens, you deserve answers from people. I want to reiterate so many times how much respect I have for the men and women in law enforcement, the sometimes thankless job they do, literally risking their lives every day for our safety, and how almost impossible it is to come after an accident, try to recreate that scene. I mean, they were not there at the time, so it's a very difficult thing to do. But throughout this investigation, it's clear there's evidence where there are inconsistencies, and I think those are the things that need to be answered, and hopefully in time they will be. So both the families of Mr. Hall and the Lacys will get the answers they deserve and some closure herein. So again, as it develops and continues to evolve, we'll certainly keep you posted. But again, that some of the evidence today supports the claim that why the Lafourche Parish District Attorney did not recommend bringing charges against Kairen Lacy, because of the inconsistencies in the state police report. So state police continues to maintain their stance, and it's quite honestly hard to understand why. I'm editorializing there, but some of these things need to be answered. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought to you by Parish Restoration, parishrestoration.com. Kill mold, remove odor. It's parishrestoration.com. My buddy, Mr. Jim Woodworth, Garrett Nussmeyer, and his soon-to-be wife called Jim. They got engaged. Of course, they bought a house, and then found out they had mold in that house. So they hired Parish Restoration to come in, spray their patented non-toxic dry fog, and get rid of all that mold. You should call them as well. It's more cost-effective. It's more efficient. It's more effective than traditional remediation, whether it's mold, other harmful pathogens. If you got odor, they can knock all that out for you at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com is where you go to schedule that inspection. Parishrestoration.com. All right, tailgate segment time. Hit it, Muse.
At LSU, we play hard, but we tailgate harder. Light your burner, fire up the grill. It's time for our Football Friday Tailgate Recipe of the Week with Chris's Specialty Foods. 4 locations, or go to chrisspecialtyfoods.com.
All right, Coben Linedecker joins us here live on site at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Welcome back. Good to see you.
What's up, Matt?
Another day back home, a chance to tailgate, and obviously the LSU Tigers taking on the Game Chickens. So I guess we're going to be eating chicken today. What we got?
All kind of chicken. Yeah, glad to be back, man.
What is that?
That is our chef's made smoked chicken salad. We sell it in the We sell it at lunch.
I had the sandwich.
Yes, so we sell it at lunch, and then people fell in love with it, so we started packing it up and selling it in stores.
That's the stuff, y'all. The smoked, what's it called?
Smoked chicken salad.
Smoked chicken salad. That's a great dip. Put it on a sandwich. Trust me, I had it for lunch last week when I went with Terrio. It's awesome.
Unbelievable.
Because Terrio's there every day.
Every day.
He spends our entire parish marketing and our budget on food at Chris's. We're keeping you in business.
Yes. And then we have also a fan favorite at the restaurant at our lunch spot, a blackened chicken wrap.
Okay.
That's Terrio's go-to. He loves our blackened chicken.
Everything is Terrio's go-to. What are you talking about?
It's a fan
Lobster
favorite.
rolls, Wagyu hot dogs, ribeye sliders. Yeah, of course. Everything's his go-to.
Here we'll move on to the stuffed chicken breast. We have jalapeno cream cheese wrapped in bacon. Very easy. Throw it on the pit, 45 minutes. All the work's done for you. Here we have a smoked jalapeno chicken sausage.
Okay.
It's very good.
Let me get you a look. I'm just going to get that mic. There you go.
And then after that, we have our bacon wrapped thighs. Same thing. Already done.
What? Is that bone in or
no,
it's
that's
just thigh
boneless.
meat?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Very juicy.
Let's go.
Yes. And then, of course, everybody knows Chris's for our stuffed chickens. I brought a boudin stuffed chicken. They are completely boneless. And that's just all meat and boudin. So, again, this stuff is all very easy just to pop in the oven, the grill, whatever you need, and you can have some chicken for the South Carolina game.
So people are going out to Tailgate. How do they do the stuffed chicken on the grill?
Yeah. So that's the same thing as all the others. You can pop it in the grill or the oven, about $350 for an hour.
What is that?
That's the blackened chicken from the wrap.
Oh, got it. That's black. Okay, awesome, awesome stuff. Whenever we talked about like deboning the chicken before, that's a whole process.
Yes.
Wait, just let them do it for you. Go to Chris's, ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. Y'all are taking deers as well, yeah? Deer.
Yes, we already have gotten in a lot of deer, and guys, the holidays.
Y'all taking deers, right?
The holidays are coming up. We've already started getting orders. Get in your turkey orders, your gift basket orders, anything. Let us take care of it for you.
All right, there's 4 locations: Millerville, Highland near the interstate, Central, and Lakeview as well for all the NOLA peeps. So y'all check it out. ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com online. ChrisSpecialtyFoods.com. South Carolina week. Time to eat chicken. Who says chicken's got to be boring? All right, we got 15 seconds. Game tomorrow. Give me a pick.
I'm going to go LSU 27, South Carolina 20. I like South Carolina covering, but LSU wins the football game.
Oh, how South Carolina's going to score that many points? All right, Coben, we appreciate it. Y'all go see our friends over at Chris's. Thanks, man. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Matt.
Hour 2 next.
AFR.
Put a button here on hour number 1 from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com with locations all over South Louisiana. If you need work done on your vehicle, Shaw Bills can help. If you're looking to buy tires, let's be honest, nobody wants to buy tires. It's not a fun thing to buy. They often can be expensive, and it's a boring thing to buy. You'd rather spend money on fun things. But your vehicle literally will not move down the road if you don't have tires. So you got to have them. And you want the best tires so you're safe, and they're going to perform for you to keep you and your family safe. So you might as well get the best tires on the road at the cheapest price possible, and that's where Shaw Bills comes in, because they will combine in-house offers, the manufacturer's offers. They always offer the Shaw Bills credit card as well, which gives you great discounts on things like installation. Learn more. All the promotions are at the website, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Name brand tires at wholesale prices, and they treat you like family. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment.
Dave's back on.
Coors Light. Choose chill.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team color, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has...
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Menken. It comes down to one game tonight to advance to the American League Championship Series. The Division Series Game 5 will take place in Seattle where the Mariners host the Tigers. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio with our coverage getting underway at 7:30 Eastern. The winner will get the Blue Jays in the ALCS meeting on Sunday. And tomorrow on ESPN Radio, it'll be the Cubs and Brewers playing Game 5 of their series to decide who will play the Dodgers in the NLCS. NFL news, the Buccaneers will be without two key players and they take on the 49ers. Running back Bucky Irving and receiver Chris Godwin Jr. will not play on Sunday. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco is getting ready for his first start as a Bengal.
I feel like I've done a good job. I mean, it's a little bit different to call because some of the terminology is a little bit different. I think that's the biggest issue is just kind of making sure I get in and out of the huddle the way I want to.
Bengals receiver Jamar Chase left practice early with an illness. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray was back at practice despite a foot injury. He is still hopeful to play Sunday against the Colts. WNBA Finals tonight in Phoenix. Vegas looks for the title and a sweep, a 3-0 lead. They'll take on the Mercury at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Monday from NFL to college football and, of course, Major League Baseball postseason. I'll recap it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Glad to have you hanging out with us here as we send you off into your football weekend. Alondra's on site. Moose, Cassie are back in studio. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Jordan Rodgers, bottom of this hour. He'll be on the call on Saturday from Tiger Stadium with Tom Hart and Cole Kublik. So looking forward to having Jordan with us. Dari Nowkhah will be here in hour number 3. So a ton to do. I'll get you picks on LSU and South Carolina, Saints, Patriots. A lot to do here from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Come hang out with us if you're not going off work. Spend part of your Friday evening here with us at Don Juan Cigar Bar. So New Orleans Saints try to make it 2 in a row. They'll welcome the Pats into the Superdome on Sunday. New England, a 3.5-point favorite. Some of the big storylines we're following this week, obviously, are some of the interesting injury storylines and a return to health, as Les Miles is wont to say. for some guys, including Chase Young, who it looks like is, in fact, barring some setback between now and Sunday, going to make his season debut for the New Orleans Saints. He was obviously the Saints' highest priced free agent ticket with re-signing him. Suffered the calf injury before week 1, was not put on the short-term IR. Instead, was left on the active roster and missed 5 games. Well, Chase Young was a full participant in Friday's practice. So again, barring some setback, which, knock on wood, Chase Young will make his season debut, and a good time for it, which means he'll likely be lining up against former LSU Tiger Will Campbell as the Saints' right defensive end against Will Campbell, the left tackle. And Kellen Moore is pretty excited about what Chase Young can add to this Saints defensive line.
Happy to see him out on the field. He deserves it. He's earned it. He's had an excellent week of practice. He's done an excellent job, and certainly there'll be some juice and excitement for him just to get out there. I think it'll bring all the other guys a little more juice as well.
The other thing that Kellen Moore also talked about was just that rotation, right? Because you've had Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan primarily in that spot. Well, now what that gives you is options and a bit of a rotation, as you mentioned on Friday.
Yeah, just more depth. Obviously, with Grando and Cam taking a ton of reps, getting Chase in there will help that rotation a little bit. Chris will still be rolling. And so we feel like, now you got 4 players that all rotate a healthy dose in there. And I think that'll be great to keep those guys fresh and ready for those passing situation rushes.
If you're just looking at defensive snap count, just for context here, okay, about what adding Chase Young to this defense will mean. So Carl Granderson has played 261 defensive snaps. So the Saints as a team, I'm not trying to bore you with math, but so defensively, the Saints have had 326 defensive snaps. Carl Granderson's played 261. Cam Jordan's played 236. When you're looking at ends, the next highest is Chris Rumpf with 129, and then Fadil Diggs with 52. That's it. So you have relied so heavily on Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan, who Cam Jordan was an Iron Man for much of his career and never came off the field, but his snap counts had effectively up until this year been cut in half because his production had gone down. Adding Chase Young is a major boost to keep you with fresh bodies coming off the edge, and instead of Fadil Diggs and Chris Rumpf, getting those reps, and I think Rumpf will still have a role and rotate in, but now you're going to keep fresh legs. Maybe Cam Jordan's reps get cut in half and you give those to Chase Young, which should make you more dynamic coming off the edge. So Chase Young set to play for the New Orleans Saints on Sunday against New England to make his season debut. Now, if we look at the other notable parts of the injury report, no surprise, Isaac Adam, he's out. The hamstring injury, did not practice all week. That means expect to see more of Quincy Riley. Of course, you added a veteran cornerback this week as well. Kamara and John Ridgeway are both questionable. Now, Ridgeway, remember, started the season on PUP. He had his 21-day window open last week, and he was a full participant at practice, but all week, but they still have him listed as questionable. Kamara is the other interesting one here. So Kamara injured his ankle on Wednesday in practice, and then was limited Thursday and Friday. Kellen Moore Friday after practice. Here's the absolute latest on Kamara.
Yeah, he's just been limited the last couple practices, and so other than that, he's training well. We just got to let it take its full course this week, so he's doing well though.
I think, and look, Kellen is a man of few words and doesn't give us much to begin with, but if Alvin Kamara is limited in the game, what this likely means now is just more of an opportunity for Kendre Miller, which, by the way, and I know we talk PFF here, to use it as a metric. I say it often. PFF is a metric. It's not the metric. If you go look at the New Orleans Saints season-long grades on offense, there have been 27 players that have taken an offensive snap for New Orleans. And so then you have grades that break down, like the overall offensive grade, passing grade, pass blocking, run blocking, all that sort of stuff. So the overall offensive grade, the highest graded player on the New Orleans Saints offense, the highest graded player on the New Orleans Saints offense is Kendre Miller with an 80.2. Now, he's at 89 snaps, whereas Kamara, for example, is at 260 snaps. So about 3 times, Kamara's had about 3 times as many snaps as Kendre. But when Kendre's been on the field, the point is he has been very effective. His running grade is a 79, which is awesome. Kamara's running grade is a 65.7. Kamara's been good. It goes to show you context. Kendra is one of the best in the NFL at making defenses miss tackles in a lot of these different statistics. So I say often sometimes with PFF, it can either confirm or disconfirm what you think, like what your eyes are telling you. And when you watch Kendre Miller play, it is very clear, like your eyes are telling you he is running fast and strong and powerful. He's explosive. He's made good plays both in the running game and in the return game. And, when you look at Miller statistically outside of like the PFF numbers, Kendre Miller is averaging almost 4.5 yards per carry. And that's it's impressive. I mean, Kamara's at 3.9. So, and that's even without the real explosive play. I mean, Kendre's long run of the season is only 18 yards, same as Alvin, which means he's doing damage in that short and intermediate range. So I think that's fantastic to see. And by the way, that's one of the things Kellen Moore, like as I look at Kellen Moore's sound bites, his answers to questions, 8 seconds, 11 seconds, 15 seconds, 14 seconds, 6 seconds. There's a 20-second answer on here. Like, that's Kellen Moore getting wordy. Well, listen to it. It's about Kendre Miller and what his emergence means for the offense.
Kendre's just doing a phenomenal job, and I think a lot of these really talented run games in this league have two backs that are able to kind of balance each other out, and so it's good for Alvin. Alvin's got a lot in the pass game naturally in every week, and so I think having both those guys will give us the versatility and the depth to handle a game, whichever course it takes as far as volume and runs or passes.
Now, there is one very significant injury to keep an eye on the flip side for New England. Running back Antonio Gibson, we knew that he was going to be out with the knee injury. Safety Jalen Hawkins is out. Defensive end Keon White is out. Linebacker Anthony Jennings is out. So they do have some injury issues, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Former LSU Tyler Caleb Chason was limited this week, but was full on Friday, so he'll be a go. But the most interesting one is Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez is emerging as a lockdown corner in the NFL and has been awesome. Well, he suffered a hamstring injury in practice this week. He was a DNP on Wednesday. I'm sorry, he was not on the injury report on Wednesday, suffered the injury. Then Thursday, Friday was limited. He is officially listed for this game as questionable. So if they do not have Christian Gonzalez to lock down one side of the field, that is a massive loss for the New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel on Friday gave the brief update on Christian Gonzalez's status for the game.
Christian will be questionable for the game. We'll continue to monitor him and see where that goes and try to make a decision at 10:30 Central Time, 90 minutes before the game. So that's where we're at, and we'll have to have a plan if he doesn't go, and we'll have a plan if he does go, just like everybody else.
So very non-committal there. And look, for a New Orleans Saints offense that has not been explosive, they have been efficient to the point that they've protected the football with Spencer Rattler, but they have not been explosive. New Orleans is 25th in the NFL in passing offense. I'll remind you, there's 32 teams. They're 25th out of 32. Only 190 pass yards a game. So they have struggled to get going through the air. For context, they're 14th in rushing offense, right in the middle of the NFL. But this is one of those instances where if you take away the opponent's best cornerback and they're already down a starting safety who's out for the game, this might give you some opportunity to make plays in the secondary. So follow that on Sunday whenever they ultimately make the final designations for who's in and who's out. Keep an eye on Christian Gonzalez from New England. Great opportunity for the Saints to go make it 2 in a row there at the Dome. They're at home against New England. As it sits right now, the Pats are a 3.5-point road favorite in New Orleans. All right, it is After Further Review. We're live from Don Juan Cigar Bar, and glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com, williamsoneye.com. You want to see 2020, call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. They're awesome. Dr. Blake is amazing. Go have one interaction, one sit-down meeting face-to-face. You'll understand what I've talked about forever. He has such an amazing way of explaining something that is very complex and making it sound very easy and making you very comfortable with your decision with him. One of the things he talks about during procedure, he calls it vocal local. The way he talks to you during the procedure keeps you so calm. I lived it. Dr. Blake did my LASIK 7 years ago, and I couldn't be happier. If you want to ditch contacts and glasses forever, the Williamson Eye Center can help. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We're glad you're hanging out with us here. Brian Kelly met with reporters on Thursday and then had his coach's show Thursday night. One final preview before the South Carolina game. A few tidbits, including some key injuries and personnel notes that we'll get to here in just a smidge. And in 17 minutes, Jordan Rodgers will be here with us. Get his thoughts on us, the LSU offense. Same with Lenora Sellers as well. So we'll do that coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Jordan Rodgers, Tom Hart, Cole Kubelik, they'll all be on the call Saturday in Tiger Stadium. And Dari Nowkhah 1 hour from right now as well. Big one. Dari, of course, an OU alum. Big one with the Red River rivalry going down at the Texas State Fair on Saturday. So we'll talk a little SEC with Dari Nowkhah in hour 3. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. Don't you move. Stick around with us here. We'll roll along on AFR.
AFR.
Love telling you about our friends over at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. As a matter of fact, I visited Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness today. I went over to the facility. I get the testosterone that I take, get it shipped to my house. I usually give myself the injection. Well, it ran out. The new bottle hadn't arrived yet. So went into Goodwood today, got my injection there, and they're so friendly. Mary's awesome. Gabe's awesome. Go see the staff over at Goodwood. And the thing that I'll tell you so many times is if you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if as you've aged, you've at any point thought to yourself, man, I remember what it felt like to wake up and not be in pain. I remember what it felt like to wake up and have great energy. I remember what it felt like to get in the gym and have good workouts and build muscle and burn fat and have energy and libido and all of those things. Like, you can still have that. You can safely and affordably supplement to get to healthy hormone levels to help you feel like your younger self. Goodwood can help. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
I think I made it pretty clear we have to be more consistent offensively. We have to be more productive, from an offensive standpoint. It's been on again, off again. This needs to be much more consistent in its performance. That's where our offense needs to be. Is it going to be on Saturday? I hope so. But I know the process in terms of the work that we're doing, nothing's up for discussion. We're looking at every facet of our offense to be more consistent and have more of a balanced approach to what we're doing.
Brian Kelly meeting with reporters Thursday, his final media availability before LSU takes on South Carolina. And that really is the crux of what everybody's going to be watching Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. I think we all objectively look and recognize LSU's defense is very good. Special teams has been outstanding this year. Amon Anand has done an amazing job with that special teams unit. Certainly helps to have the personnel with a fourth-year kicker, a kickoff guy that's an automatic touchback, explosive returners, and Xavier Thomas and Barry and Brown. And then with better depth, you've improved your coverage units. So special teams was such an enigma for LSU the first 3 years of the Brian Kelly era, and how they were sort of so bad this year. They're quite good in that third phase. The question is, can they get going offensively? My contention has been I need to see the offensive line improve, because I think that's the first domino. It's a chicken or the egg question. Do you need to throw the ball to set up the run, or do you need to run the ball to set up the pass? Well, if you're trying to run the ball, do you need your offensive line to play better? Which is it? Will throwing the ball better alleviate pressure on the line? There's all these different questions. For my personal opinion is the first domino that needs to fall is the offensive line has to play better. If the offensive line plays better, you'll be able to run the ball more effectively. You'll draw the defense into the box, making them respect the run, which will open up passing lanes for Garrett Nussmeier and these receivers, and you'll be more explosive in the passing game. That's just my contention. So how does that look? And it feels like there's going to be certainly a little bit of a shuffle this week, namely at left guard. Paul Mabenga is officially doubtful on the participation report from the SEC, as LSU has, or availability report, as LSU has filed it with the SEC. So you could have a change there at left guard. And Brian Kelly was asked on Thursday with media, what the options are there at left guard if Paul Mabenga can't go.
Well, right now, Cohen Eccles has got most of the reps there when Paul hasn't been in. And we have a lot of confidence in him. But Karius Kern is repping there as well. So we'll kind of see how that goes. If Paul can't go and, he's doubtful at this point, then that would be the two-man rotation. And if we think that Cohen's handling it, we'll see how that goes on Saturday. But we've repped them both, and they're both ready to play.
Remember, this feels very similar to what happened against Ole Miss, where Weston Davis is your starting right tackle. He gets injured in pregame. They play Karius Kern at right tackle because Chester's unavailable. Remember, prior, Brian Kelly had said Chester was sort of the sixth man. Any of those spots, someone goes out, Chester's the first guy in. We saw it against Clemson. He went in at left tackle for Tyree Adams. We saw it against Louisiana Tech. He went in at center for Braylon Moore. And it would have stood to reason that with Weston Davis suffering that injury pregame, Chester would have been your right tackle against Ole Miss, but Chester was unavailable. So they played Kern. And at halftime of that game, they stuck with Kern. And I asked Brian Kelly earlier in the week why, and he said they thought Kern was playing well, so they said let's let the freshman get out, stay out there and get those reps. So I think it's probably similar here. They'll go with Eccles because Eccles is just quite frankly been your rotating left guard there this year with Paul Mabenga. I mean, both guys have played a good bit of snaps there at left guard. But this will be the first time that we would potentially see Karius Kern at left guard if he gets any run there. We've seen him exclusively at this point in the season at right tackle. So if you do see Kern in there at left guard, that'll be the first time we see him. Now, as I mentioned, Paul Mabenga, as of now, forgive me, I'm trying to look up the snap counts here while we do this live. So Paul Mabenga has 220 snaps on the season. Cohen Eccles 149. So they've both played a good bit there at that left guard spot. Every snap that Karius Kern has taken, his 89 snaps on the season have all been at right tackle. So this would potentially be his first time. But it really is going to depend on how Cohen Eccles is playing. If Eccles is playing well, then you stick with Eccles. There's no reason to make a change and upset the apple cart. If Eccles is struggling, I think you see Kern get an opportunity. For what it's worth, Eccles, if you look at the PFF grades, has not had a grade out of the 50s all season until Ole Miss. Ole Miss was actually his best game of the year by a wide margin. Like, his pass blocking grades were 42, 54, 43, 59, then 84 against Ole Miss. His overall grades, 51, 55, 50, 59, 63 against Ole Miss. So Eccles on the road in a tough spot was pretty good, according to PFF, when your offensive line really struggled. So can he carry that into this game? It's something worth watching. Now, on his radio show on Thursday night, Brian Kelly updated a couple of other players, Caden Durham, and then the one everyone's curious about, which is Garrett Nussmeier. Here was the update on Caden Durham.
I like where Caden Durham was today in practice. And earlier in the week, he ran back to 20 miles an hour, so he got his speed back. Then it's about that cutting. As you all know, as a running back, you've got to be able to stick your foot in the ground and make that decisive cut. He did that today. So I think he's, we'll probably upgrade him as we get closer to game time.
I don't want to minimize. I don't want to place the blame on LSU's inability to run against Ole Miss solely on Caden Durham not being there. However, I do think it is. I think it would be negligent to not acknowledge the absence of your starting running back. Of course that affected you. Of course it affected play call, decision making, all that sort of stuff when you didn't have Caden Durham and you had freshman Harlem Berry and Juwan Johnson, who 6 weeks ago was playing quarterback. So having Durham back, I'll be curious to see how that might affect play call and strategy in this game. And then, of course, Nussmeier. So here was Kelly on Nussmeier on his radio show Thursday night.
Look, at the end of the day, our quarterback is in a better place than he was a few weeks ago. And, when we look at it, we had him on a pitch count in terms of throwing the football. He was throwing the ball. I got his numbers today. He was throwing the ball with the kind of velocity that, he was last year. So I'm excited about watching Garrett play. He's taken, a lot of the heat because the quarterback always does. But it's 11 players got to play together, and if all 11 are playing and our quarterback as we know him is playing up to his level because he's healthy, I'm bullish on the Tigers.
One thing I'll share with you candidly, and texting with a staffer earlier today, this person told me, and I'll tell you, said Nussmeier, the text was, let the ball rip yesterday as much as I've seen in the last few weeks. So take that for what it's worth. I know you'll only believe it when you see it. Hopefully we see it Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. All right, it's After Further Review. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. You can meet our friends from Don Juan Cigar Bar tomorrow if you're going to be out at Tiger Stadium tailgating. They'll be there with the Bocock Brothers folks in front of the PMAC, between the PMAC and Tiger Stadium, so pop on by and say hello. We're brought to you by First South Farm Credit, firstsouthland.com, firstsouthland.com. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call should be to First South Farm Credit. That's what Eli Graham did. As a matter of fact, Eli Graham, not only farmer, but also has bought land for his family's home, his personal property as well. And one of the things that stood out when I was talking to Eli was the willingness of the folks at First South Farm Credit to do business darn near anywhere.
They're just a great organization to do business with. Very, very friendly, very helpful. We've met in the middle on the side of the road and done stuff on the hood of a pickup truck before. Just whatever it takes to get it done.
You need to sign papers on the hood of a pickup truck in the middle of a road somewhere in the middle of your farmland, they'll come to you. It's First South Farm Credit because since 1916, they've helped Louisianians buy land. It's the thing they do, and it's the thing they do better than anyone. It's First South Farm Credit. Visit firstsouthland.com. That's firstsouthland.com for First South Farm Credit. All right, quick break. We'll come back. Jordan Rodgers, he'll be on the call with Tom Hart and Cole Kubelik. He'll be with us next on AFR.
After further review.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Parish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
I don't think it's just tempo. I think it's cutting back on the perfect formations, right? We have a lot of pre-snap motioning and changing the formations. That slows you down a little bit, as well as, from our perspective, not having, some lock calls where let's just call it and let's roll. We've wanted to check a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage, so they have a tendency to slow you down. So where do you go from there? You go to a lot more of offensive plays that are static in their alignment and they're universal in their call. In other words, regardless of what coverage you get, you're going to be able to run these plays. So
effectively, Brian Kelly saying, call the play, run the play. You take down, please. Thank you. Call the play, run the play. And might simplify things. Jordan Rodgers will be on the call on Saturday night in Tiger Stadium with Tom Hart and Cole Kublik. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Hey, Jordan, thanks for the time, man. Great to have you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just got done talking with the coaches here a couple hours ago, so looking forward to it.
Did you get a sense? Look, you've had the Tigers now a couple of times. Did you get a sense anything different talking to the staff this time as opposed to the previous time you were in Baton Rouge?
I think it's a continued conversation about the identity of who they want to be on offense. That sound clip you just played from Brian Kelly was echoed to us as well. I think tempo and getting back to using tempo at times is something that this offense wants to do. And I think at times, when you have a quarterback that's played a ton of football like Garrett Nussmeier, you want to fix things at the line of scrimmage. You want to get the perfect protection. You want to get the perfect route adjustment or change a combination when you can, when in reality, sometimes being fast and going fast can lead to less mistakes, less thinking, easier rolls for the line of scrimmage, the offensive line, and get your playmakers the ball in space. So I think that's going to be a continued emphasis for the offense, going into South Carolina.
Jordan, can you elaborate just a little more on who going fast might benefit the most? Is it the line with the calls? Is it Nussmeier just gripping and ripping? Like, who does that benefit the most going fast?
Everybody. First and foremost, yes, the offensive line, because the call's not changing, right? Think about as the seconds tick down and Garrett Nussmeier saying, hey, re-mic to the backside. Now every offensive lineman's going to, okay, now we're sliding to this guy. And it's that thinking that causes you to hesitate, right? And I think also from a play calling perspective, going fast, hey, let's just get our playmaker the ball in space. Let's not overthink the perfect play or the perfect concept or what coverage I think. Like, let's just get our guys that are faster than yours the ball quickly. So I think it really benefits everybody. I'm not saying you need to do that all the time, because you still got to allow Garrett Nussmeier to use, what he's so valuable at between the ears and getting you in the right protections at times. But sprinkling it in after a big play, on a first or second down to get some momentum going and just get, Barryon Brown or Aaron Anderson or Chris Hilton the ball in space, I think that's something they got to use as a weapon more frequently.
You all had LSU against Southeastern, and we know the score got out of hand. I'm not super concerned about the score against an FCS team, but one of the things is we've talked so much, Jordan, about Nuss and his physical health, what isn't bothered or whatever. That game, physically, he looked like Garrett Nussmeier. They were stretching the field. He made some throws across his body. Like, it looked right. And then a week later, it didn't against Ole Miss. Where do you fall with how Nuss has looked physically this year?
Not healthy at all. And I think you're starting to understand that that's the reality. And I think when you have an injury like anything abdominal, anything oblique, anything torso with a quarterback, it's not an acute injury. It's more of a usage injury. So like some weeks and if your volume was down in practice a little bit, you can feel a little bit better. In some weeks, you're forced to have a bigger volume, or maybe a game you tweaked it and there's a setback. So I think it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but he has not been healthy. And I've said this since really week 2. I don't feel like I had seen Garrett Nussmeier throw the ball 90, 95%. Like when he reared back and needed his fastball, he never had it. And to me, that was a little bit of his superpower last year, is when the pocket broke down, when he was off platform, his ability to create torque and velocity when things broke down was something that I highlighted as, man, this guy is special because of it. You haven't seen that this year. That tells me he hasn't been healthy. Talking to coaches and the pitch count that they had and really shutting him down a little bit and having the bye week to rest, I think is going to bode really well. But you could see it. He's not the same Garrett Nussmeier. The play calling hasn't been the same because of that, because you don't really fully trust his ability to be accurate and push the ball downfield. So everything shrinks. When you can't run the football and you can't stretch a defense vertically, you're in a problem as a play caller. It's not a fun place to be. So I think we're going to see a healthier version. Don't think we're going to see 100%, but because of the bye week, I think he's going to be much healthier, and I hope that means getting back to a little bit of the offense being more of a vertical threat as we all expected it to be coming into the season.
Jordan Rodgers is with us. If you flip it, Jordan, you talk about Lenora Sellers. They're in Columbia. They're having a lot of the same conversations about what's going on offensively there. So let's just start with sort of an obvious one. What is the biggest thing ailing that offense in Columbia right now?
The lack of a traditional run game where you can hand it off and someone can make a play when it's not perfect. And I think we saw a little bit of a switch or a flip get switched with this offense against Kentucky, where they said, look, Lenore is going to have to be Superman. And I think they wanted to build it so he could be sustainable as a guy they use in the run game a little bit here and there, but a guy that is more of a pocket passer that can make plays when it breaks down. I think that went out the window. And I think you saw last week with Kentucky more designed quarterback runs. I think you're going to see that even more so against LSU. I think the staff is realizing, and Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, that that's the only way they can win is when Lenore gets maybe 8 to 10 designed quarterback runs, and then also half the pass plays, get him outside the pocket. So he has a two-way go. If nothing's there, he can take off and run. We saw a ton of that against Kentucky. We saw design runs, boots, naked to get him outside the pocket. I think we're going to see a ton of that against LSU as well.
How do you think the LSU defense matches up against Sellers in that South Carolina offense?
I think it matches up well. This is an offensive line for South Carolina that's been banged up. They've struggled. They've had a bunch of different rotations. I think man-on-man, they match up really, really well. I think the interesting part for me is just continuing to look at this defense and go, how can Blake Baker get the most out of Harold Perkins? Because we're not seeing it. He has 1 sack in his last 9 games. He has three edge pressures since last year. I mean, it's just you've got to find a way, whether it's moving him or starting him at the line of scrimmage and attacking him with stunts. Time and time again, when I watched the tape last week against Ole Miss, when he did rush the quarterback, he was coming from too much depth and or, he had a back to read, and then once the back went the other way, then he was able to go. He was 2 or 3 steps away from affecting the quarterback like 5 or 6 times. And so I think in a game like this, especially with maybe how well LSU feels they'll match up man-to-man on the outside against South Carolina's receivers, this is not a strength. I think we'll see much more of Harold Perkins in the box around the line of scrimmage and him being able to be used as a weapon. And I think that's what this defense is missing. They're great on coverage on the back end. The defensive line, I think, has been disruptive. I want to see Harold Perkins have more of an impact. I think scheme-wise, he'll have that opportunity this week, and I hope that continues.
Jordan, I want to steal a thought on Missouri and Alabama as well, because look, there's a lot of people at this point, after really impressive wins by Alabama, think they might be the best team in the league. Missouri has looked awesome, but who have they played? Do you have a thought on how things might transpire in Como Saturday morning?
This is a really tough one because I love this Missouri team. I love Ahmad Hardy. I don't think he gets enough credit on the national in the national media for how good he is. I think if he had an A on the side of his helmet, he'd be the Heisman favorite right now, and everybody would know his name. So I think people will start to realize just how good he is. And I love Bo Prabula. I think he has been a great addition coming from Penn State. His mobility, his accuracy, especially on money down, third down, he's been lights out. The problem is this defense has not been tested. And I love Ty Simpson. I think he gets so much credit for how good of a pocket passer he is. But the X factor to me is how good he has been with his legs. Not just running, because he can take off. He's a good athlete. He can take off and hurt you with his legs. But getting outside the pocket and attacking downfield. He has 14 passing first downs outside the pocket. That's the most in the country. He is dangerous when things break down. And so as good as Missouri is, and they got a couple really good guys, Zion Young and Damon Wilson, great pass rushers. But when things break down, when the defensive structure breaks down, that's where, to me, Alabama has the advantage because of how good Ty has been in that situation. But I think it's going to be a really good game. I do think Missouri hasn't been tested, but I think they're going to be ready for this game. I think they match up well, especially with the run game and where Alabama has kind of been giving things up, in chunk plays. Hardy's going to get a few of those, so I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Where are you, Tom, and Cole going to dinner tonight?
Oh man, I'm in Como, Missouri for Nation tomorrow. So they're going to they'll be in Baton Rouge. They're going to Supper Club.
Supper Club is a great sponsor of this show.
It's a great spot. I had it a couple weeks ago. It's fantastic.
It is. Brandon and Mackenzie outdid themselves. They kind of looked at that as like, let's give a gift to Baton Rouge, and it's a freaking phenomenal place.
It almost feels like you're in a Vegas nightclub.
Yes.
I love it. The food is unbelievable. If it's your birthday, you get a bottle of champagne and sparklers. Like, doesn't feel like you're in Baton Rouge.
That's exactly what they were doing, man. Like, if you go through the whole thing, like they got the carpet from Holland. Like the wallpaper came from like Spain. Oh, dude, everything is just it's phenomenal. I mean, it's a great place to go. Hey, man, enjoy Nation tomorrow there in Como. It'll be no doubt a great scene, and then it should be a lot of energy in Tiger Stadium tomorrow night, man. Safe travels. Have a great call. We appreciate a few minutes.
Appreciate it.
Of course, that's Jordan Rodgers, good enough to give us a couple of minutes. We appreciate the guy. So I guess he mentioned, I should have known that it was obviously going to be in Como for SC Nation, but he mentioned talking to the LSU coaches. I presume he did those convos remotely in preparation for the game. But it's going to be I'm really interested to see what the atmosphere in Tiger Stadium is going to be. Real quick, I'll give you a thought on that in a second. Let me remind you, let me do this so I stay on time. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Gents, if you're thinking of popping the question, Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry has helped Louisianans get engaged for 40 years. And because they have the purchasing power, buying diamonds from some of the finest diamond mines in the world and buying for 10 stores, they're going to get great prices and great value that they can pass along to you. So you go to a box store, one of the big jewelry box stores, you're going to get a cookie cutter model and an impersonal feel. You go to a boutique jeweler, you're going to overpay and the selection's not going to be great. Lee Michaels is that just right. It's like Goldilocks. It's like just right. It's that perfect size where you're going to get the great selection and the great price and the customer service and the local feel. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. I'm curious what the atmosphere is going to be like in Tiger Stadium because, look, the last game day when LSU kicked off, they were ranked 3rd or 4th in the country. They were undefeated. They were very much perceived to be a title contender. Our whole staff here picked LSU, and I don't think that was a homer pick. I picked LSU to lose to Clemson. I mean, I'll pick against them. I know Hunt will pick against them. Hester and Flint sometimes have some trouble separating with their heart, but we will. We'll pick against them if we think they're good. But our staff unanimously picked Ole Miss because LSU to beat Ole Miss because Ole Miss is so bad defensively, and they had given up so much. And I think collectively we all thought LSU would be better against a bad defense because Clemson and Florida have good defenses. So some of the offensive struggles made sense, and we were wrong. But you've had now 2 weeks to chew on a disgusting loss, and that taste is in your mouth, and it's just like it's festered for 2 weeks, all of the negativity. So I wonder what the atmosphere is going to be like in Tiger Stadium. The thing I think that's so important to remember from an LSU perspective, and I'm not trying to give you a purple and gold pep talk here, but it's just the reality. No team's going to go undefeated. That's just not a thing that's going to happen anymore. I know Oregon did last year, and then they lost in the Rose Bowl and got blown out by Ohio State. I mean, the national champion lost 2 games last year. The national champion lost to a 500 Michigan team. So you're not out of it. You have a loss, and it stings, but you look at what's ahead of you. You're nearly a double-digit favorite in your stadium. Then you go to Vanderbilt, which will be a much better game than Vanderbilt historically would give you, admittedly. And if you win those 2, you come home to play Texas A&M, who, if they take care of business against Florida, A&M's going to come to Baton Rouge as a top 5 team in America, and that is going to be an incredible atmosphere because you're going to have a ton on the line. But to get there, you got to win your next 2. And you're certainly capable. I'm just going to be very interested. And by the way, after Florida, A&M plays Arkansas. So Florida, Arkansas, conceivably, A&M would be coming here undefeated 7-0 and ranked in the top 5 in the country. But if it doesn't look really good tomorrow, I think you have 2 weeks of this negativity about the offense just brooding. And And if the offense continues to struggle and they miss deep shots, and I think you're probably going to hear some groans and probably some boos, and it could be negative. It's why I think it's so important this team starts fast. I know Brian Kelly said on Thursday, but they got to get going offensively early in this game. Find a way to dial up a deep shot, hit it, score early, and give yourself a lead, so that way you can get some positive vibes into the stadium that you can maybe carry into this week, next week against Vanderbilt, and hopefully into what should be a massive game in Baton Rouge in a couple weeks against Texas A&M. But first things first, Tigers and Gamecocks Saturday night in Death Valley. Thanks to Jordan Rodgers. Okay, quick break. We'll come back. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2. We'll do our pick'em segment. Our buddy Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, our SEC writer, also a host of Locked On Gamecocks. He'll be here. We'll do some picks, and we'll get to Dari Nowkhah in 30 minutes from right now. We're glad you're hanging out with us here on a Football Friday edition of AFR Live from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
After further review.
GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. At Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. And by now, you know I say it that way because at Glow Resources, they are not a temp staffing agency. If you're looking for a job, don't call them. That's not what they do. They'll find you. If you're a business owner or someone who works in a business responsible for finding and hiring the right people, Glow Resources wants to talk to you, especially since COVID, where the workforce changed, be it people working remotely, Zoom, the difficulty in finding people that are willing to work. It's been challenging in nearly every industry. Well, Glow Resources conducts some 15,000 interviews over the course of the year. They can help you find the right people to make your business more effective. So check them out online. Start there at GLO. It's glowresources.com, glowresources.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Children's School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Mornings with Brian Haldane is the only live and local talk show in the capital city. Get the news from the newsmakers, along with traffic and weather updates throughout the morning. The conversation starts weekday mornings at 6 on Talk 107.3.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead...
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Wrapping up hour number 2. We're glad you're with us here live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, make sure you can get by here to Don Juan Cigar Bar. Great crowd on a Friday afternoon, by the way. People knocking off work, coming hanging out. Right next door, remember Don Juan Cigar Company, which is the retail shop. Largest walk-in humidor in the state of Louisiana. So you want to get your sticks for this weekend, come on by Don Juan Cigar Bar here in Town Center. Don Juan Cigar Company right next door. All right, we'll throw it back to Studio Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, we'll go ahead and we will get started with Thursday night football. Cordell Flott, the New York Giants, made his impact in a big way down the stretch in the fourth quarter. A game-sealing interception of Jalen Hurts for all intents and purposes. He returned that interception 68 yards to set up the insurance score that would ultimately give the Giants their 34-17 victory. He also had 3 stops in the ballgame, including 1 tackle for a loss. Looking ahead to NFL action this weekend, Jamar Chase missed Friday's practice for the Cincinnati Bengals with an illness. It was just a walkthrough. He wasn't there. They sent him home to go get some rest. Zach Taylor, when he met with the media after practice, officially listed Chase as questionable. Not the only Bengal that has been kind of struggling with an illness, so they kind of have something going around there. We'll see how that does end up impacting Chase's status. Of course, it'll be Joe Flacco throwing him the football this weekend. And here in the Dome, Kayvon Chason for the Patriots was limited all week at practice with a knee injury, upgraded to a full participant on Friday, and is expected to be ready to rock and roll when the Patriots take on the Saints noon time in the Dome. Chason off to a pretty good start in what's been an up-and-down roller coaster career for him so far in the NFL. 2.5 sacks so far through 5 football games. That is Tigers and Pros.
Got to tell you about Supper Club. We kind of just did that with Jordan Rodgers. Apparently, if you want to dine where the celebs are dining, not that I should necessarily put it out, but you can. Tom Hart and Cole Kubelik will be there tonight at Supper Club. And I mean, where else would you go? You want a world-class dining experience on Perkins Road in Baton Rouge? You go to Supper Club. It's amazing what Brandon and Mackenzie built. The feeling, the vibe. You just heard Jordan Rodgers say it, a guy that's traveled all over the world. It's like you're walking into a Vegas restaurant, a Vegas nightclub, and admittedly they toned down like the loud music that maybe some people initially early was thought maybe was a little loud, distracting, maybe not perfect for a business meeting, but like the point is they've listened to some of that, so don't let that be a detraction. It's amazing. The entire vibe, the environment is the restaurant is gorgeous. They did it to the nines, but the point is whether you want to go in there and buy a $10,000 bottle of wine, which they have, you want to buy the Japanese omi beef, which you can only get at like 2 restaurants in the United States of America, or you want a prime cut of steak, a Sagrera cut, you want the best Chilean sea bass or Alaskan king crab legs you'll ever eat in your life, you can get it all at Supper Club. Get your reservation at supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com, or go tonight because it's open seating at the bar and the bar tables, first come first serve, so you can still get in at Supper Club. Supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're hanging with us here live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out our top of the hour break. Sports Center will get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, our Pick'em segment, our buddy Chris Marler will be on site with us here from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
As we put a button on hour number 2, always get to remind you about Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Energy-efficient replacement windows, beautiful entry doors, hardy plank, vinyl siding. Oh, yeah, they do shutters as well. Remember the siding? I should talk about this more. That hardy plank, that vinyl siding is actually fire-resistant. It'll make your home more energy efficient. It comes finished in whatever color you want, so it won't chip or crack or peel or any of that stuff. So you get that finished in whatever color you want. You were done. Like, you're not painting your house again in 5 years. It's Relief Windows. They do it all. And as Brandon often says, at Relief Windows, their number one product is customer satisfaction. He often tells me, As a business owner, you have to be willing to spend your last dollar to make your customer happy. And when that is the mindset of the owner and it permeates the entire organization, every experience you have with Relief Windows is going to be an exemplary experience. It's Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com. That's reliefwindows.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parrish Construction and Roofing. This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parrishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs. From your hometown, parrishbuilt.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Ed Bankin. It comes down to one game in the American League Division Series tonight. The Tigers will play the Mariners in Seattle, with the winner advancing to the American League Championship Series. You can hear tonight's game on ESPN Radio with our coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern. Tomorrow on ESPN Radio will be the Cubs and the Brewers playing Game 5 of their series. Our coverage again will get underway at 7:30 Eastern. In NFL news, Lamar Jackson won't miss his second straight game when the Ravens face the Rams. He continues to deal with a hamstring injury. Brock Bowers will not play for the Raiders against the Titans on Sunday. He has a knee problem. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray was back at practice despite a foot injury. The Buccaneers will be without running back Ricky Irving and receiver Chris Godwin Jr. against the 49ers. Meanwhile, the Browns will have Shedeur Sanders as their backup. ESPN's Mike Tannenbaum says it will take time to see what Shedeur can actually do as Sanders continues to put himself in a position to get playing time.
Shedeur's under such a different microscope. Like, we've learned so much about quarterback development in the last couple of years from Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith. It doesn't go in a straight line. Even Cam Ward's been up and down.
The Browns will play the Steelers, who will get Joey Porter Jr. back.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Sending you off into your football weekend. We're thrilled to be here. Glad you are as well. Alondra's hanging out on site. Thanks to Musso and Cassie back in studio handling business. We got a ton to do. Dari Nowkhah is going to be here in 13 minutes from right now. Thanks to Jordan Rodgers, who was here last hour. We had Phil Steele in hour 1. Great opportunity to talk some college football and the NFL heading into a big football weekend. We are, we'll get Dari here in about 15 minutes. I'll give you a Saints-Pats pick, and then I'll give you my final thought, preview, and prediction on LSU and South Carolina. That's all coming up. So we do our pick'em segment every week. Terrio's not here. Figured good opportunity to bring Chris Marler on LouisianaSports.net. He covers the SEC for our website. He also is the host of Locked On Gamecocks, so dude who literally covers South Carolina every single day as well. It's a good opportunity to do this. How are you?
I'm good. Good. A little bit nervous about tomorrow.
Why don't you pull the mic up by your face?
How's that? Is that better?
Is that the one that droops? Is that there's a?
Is that a me thing?
No, it's not a you thing. Well, one of the mics, the thing droops, so you kind of have to leave it up like that. Anyway,
I didn't want to mouth breathe into it. That was my main concern.
Doesn't matter. No. Nobody cares. It's just what it is. They're good mics. Just do you.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Reluctantly, I tell you to do you. All right, we're gonna get to picks here in just a second. But give me a thought though on this Gamecock team and sort of the vibe around it, because coming into the season, look, Sellers was preseason first team all-conference. There's some ball-headed loser who yells a lot who said that was stupid and that this team was going to go 7-5. He was actually really wrong, because 7-5 would be an accomplishment for this team at this point.
7-5 would be huge. It would be huge.
Looking at what they have ahead, it's tough. But give me a sense on, like, finger on the pulse. What's the vibe around the program right now?
So I don't feel like they go into this game thinking we have to win this game. I think I keep comparing it to the Alabama game last year, where it's like you can be 3-3 coming out of this and still feel some sort of confidence, because remember they were 3-3 last year and they went on that run, six straight wins.
Smoke all over you. Sorry about that.
6 straight wins.
Just not intentional. Sorry.
Perfect here.
I mean, just right in your face.
But I think you could still talk yourself into maybe they get a couple of those wins, because nobody thought they were going to be good at the end of last season. They were able to pull out some stuff. Different team though, right? Like lost a lot of talent in there. Offensive line's terrible. The offensive line is just terrible, and you're down 3 starters, which I don't even know if that's a negative thing at this point, because the offensive line is so bad, even with the starters.
Which positions are out?
You got the left guard, center, and right tackle out. And the right tackle is Casey Henry. He's probably their best offensive lineman. So still some talent, but I think if you can figure out a way to foundationally get some positive steps after this game, like they had the close loss to Bama last year. They lost by 2. It felt like you were in that game. If they can have something similar to that, where they're not just blown out, I think you feel better about it.
Okay. We'll get to picks as well. We'll pick LSU, South Carolina at the end here. Buse, if you would, hit us with our music. We'll do the pick'em. I don't know if Paul left the updated graphic. Cassie, if he did, flash it up on the screen. Erica was our guest picker last week. No, wait, did we have a Muse, get in my ear. Did we have a guest picker last week? I can't remember, actually. Or did we not? I don't know if it's okay. So
no, we did not. We did not.
That's right. So Erica was 2 weeks ago.
Your wife?
Yes, for the Ole Miss game.
Okay.
Because of the Landry, Kiffin, and Whitweeks things, because she's the foremost expert on she's been following Landry Kiffin on social media for years.
Awesome.
Because of the Get Ready With Me's with Lane, and you'd have to you'll get to know my wife better, but that's very on brand. She knows nothing about football either, which is funny. Here we go. So here's the graphic. So Erica went 6-4 in her week. How about Zach Von Rosenberg and April Burkholder? April Burkholder, who's a Hall of Fame gymnast from LSU.
Yeah.
She basically, she's from Texas, so she just picked teams with Texas ties. Like, that was it.
The whole time.
Yeah, and she did really well. So the point is, you don't have to really know much to do well.
Everyone on that list is way more important than I am. So I'm already very nervous.
Doesn't matter. We had Charles Alexander was great the day that the Florida game when they retired his jersey. He was on with us. So Von Rosenberg was here for Clemson, was on the team in 19 that beat Clemson for the national championship. So anyway, it's South Carolina week, and you lived in Columbia, South Carolina. You're the Locked On Gamecocks guy, and you cover the SEC for us. So let's see how you do. All right, we're going to start with Ohio State, Illinois. This one is in Champaign. It's a big number. It's 14.5, but that's the as Phil Steele calls it, the big 12-15 kickoff.
Give me Ohio State. I don't love the hook there, but give me Ohio State. I think that what they did against Indiana, or what Illinois did against Indiana, or lack thereof, I think is what would talk me into it.
I'm with you. I'll pick Ohio State as well. Am I wrong for not being all in on Ohio State as the best team in the country? I haven't seen it yet.
Right. Yeah. I mean, because that win against Texas is impressive, but it was at home. And Texas is not great. So I don't know. We also just don't know as much about them. But I think I would be most sold on them. And if you were telling me who there's one elite team in the country, I would go with them.
I'd pick Miami.
That's fair.
I mean,
scary.
What Miami did last week to Florida. I picked Florida State to win that game because I thought Florida State would be able to run the ball.
Right.
And the first drive of the game, Florida State's going right down the field. Miami holds them to a field goal. Florida State didn't threaten again. I mean, I was so Miami's got the line of scrimmage again, which they haven't
on
had,
both sides.
which they probably haven't had in 30 years.
Right.
But it was.
And Carson Beck going up. I remember saying this to you in like February. When he was at Georgia, they played 9 top 50 defenses for pass defense. They had 2 on that schedule last year for Miami, and so he's going to have a cakewalk the rest of the year.
Look, Beck was bad last year at Georgia.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons I was not high on Miami, but he has been outstanding for them. I think Miami is the best team in the country so far. Long way to go, but we'll see.
Oh, boy.
Alabama at Mizzou. Do you want to let our audience know of whom you're a fan?
As an unbiased member of the media, I'm going to say I will do what my fiance has told me I'm very guilty of, and I will admit it to the world. I will emotionally hedge in this game. Dude, where I'm at with Alabama is the same way I was in
You've been doing that on Winning and Boozing every week with Bama.
Go read the article. It's a great article.
It is. It's like the best thing you do at LouisianaSports.net. Seriously, I've told you that. But, like, I read it, I'm like, that's exactly what you're doing. Like, when you're like, don't overthink it. Pick Georgia over Bama, 31-20. Like, don't overthink it. Georgia's great. Bama stinks.
So my buddy, my best friend is a Mizzou guy. He sent me this very lengthy response, and I'll have to send you later because it was just nailing every single thing that I did step by step in the emotional hedge. I'm still going to take Mizzou because I think I can look at this game and I think of 2010 Bama against South Carolina. You had a big win at Arkansas. You had a big win at home against Florida. Both top 10 matchups. He had to get up emotionally for 2 straight weeks. I don't think he could do it a 3rd straight week. They had to do that with Georgia and Vandy this past 2 weeks.
I picked against Bama the last 2 weeks, and they've won, so I'm picking Bama this week. I picked Bama against Florida State. We know how that went, so I'm picking Bama big in this game. Don't you go lose to Mizzou.
Don't do this.
Oklahoma. What do we make of Oklahoma, Texas?
I don't know what Vegas knows. It scares me. But there's nothing that Texas does that makes me think that they're going to go out there and right the ship against that defense, especially the front four. There's no it's the struggles they had last week on the offensive line. Nothing that tells me they're going to fix that.
We should all pick Oklahoma, so I'm picking Texas. TCU, we're not doing either of those. Arkansas at Tennessee. This is only intriguing because we're both picking Tennessee. Yes.
Yes.
All right, Tennessee. It's only intriguing because of Bobby Petrino.
Agreed. What's interesting is this line has actually dropped down to 9.5 before we started recording this. It was at 13.5, so it dropped 4 points. If you follow the other thing that I do sometimes well, Big Picks Energy. I'm all over Tennessee in every single thing I can get. At first half to cover 9.5, first quarter 6.5, and all their team total points over 20.5 in the first half. Tennessee all day. That Arkansas defense is terrible.
You can read that at LouisianaSports.net. But seriously, you should read Winning and Boozing. It is the best thing that you do. I don't get it because, like, your literary voice on that is so good, and I'm like, why do you make so many mistakes at everything? Like, why do you nail it there? And I have to edit you so
I'm in my comfort zone. It's talking about drinking and football.
It really is. Go read it. Winning and Boozing. It's great. It's LouisianaSports.net. Florida at Texas A&M. Can Billy Napier do it again?
Here's the thing. Billy Napier, when he has job security, is Mike Price. I think I said in the article today, is Jerry DiNardo. When he is on the hot seat.
You dropped a 1999 Jerry DiNardo reference. I was like,
well, I didn't know he was so good the 2 years prior to that.
They won 10 games in '96.
Yeah,
they won the Peach Bowl when the Peach Bowl was actually I guess it's part of the thing now, but at the time it was a fruit bowl. It was good.
But see, here's the thing: when he is on the hot seat, he is somehow 2019 Ed Orgeron or Nick Saban. I don't understand what happens. But most of those big wins where he has kind of like elongated his job security or lengthened it, I guess, or lengthened the leash, he's been at home. He's on the road. Kyle Field, give me A&M.
I'm taking A&M as well. A&M can run the ball. They're great on both lines of scrimmage. I'll take A&M. I don't love the 7.5 either. I don't love the game there, but I'll pick A&M. Georgia at Auburn. I know you have a great affinity for this game. I'd say
you hate it.
I don't hate it.
You just don't care.
I hate that Georgia, Tennessee, and Auburn, Georgia are the things that define the SEC schedule. I like
Bama, Tennessee?
What did I say?
Georgia, Tennessee.
Yeah, Bama, sorry. Yeah. Bama, Tennessee, and Auburn, Georgia. Like, those fan bases care deeply. I don't think other fan bases care.
That's fair. I mean, that is a fair way to look at it. Like, moving to Louisiana, nobody's talked about that. I grew up in, like, the shadows of Piedmont Park where his first game was ever played. February 20th, 1892.
Oh, God.
We were all there. Stetson Bennett and Diego Pavia's first semester of college. It was great. But here's the thing. I will take... Georgia has won 17 of the last 20. I have this beautiful fiance standing up here off camera. Big Auburn grad, big Auburn fan. If you have to depend on how spooky your stadium is at night to win games, I don't believe it.
I will tell you that I've been to every venue in the SEC except now for Mizzou. I will tell you Auburn, I think, is the best road venue I've been in.
It's fun,
man. Let's see, and I love the LSU Auburn game. Like, that's my favorite game. Michigan at Southern Cal.
USC, I feel like that's the easy pick. I don't understand why it's so low. It's on the road, too.
Freshman quarterback and Bryce Underwood on the road. Yeah, give me Southern Cal. BYU, Arizona, because we have to.
So here's the thing. All of us know the entire landscape of college football, and this is not something I just looked up before the segment, but Arizona's 4-1 against the spread. So give me Arizona. As a home dog, give me the Wildcats.
Phil Steele picked Arizona outright winner.
Yeah,
upset special.
I saw his circle thing there, and I was like, we're going with that.
Yeah, Arizona, there it is. So we're going, he picked him outright.
Yeah.
So we'll go with Arizona. All right, South Carolina at Louisiana State University.
And
A&M College.
I don't know how South Carolina is able to consistently stay ahead of the chains because they haven't been able to all year. They're not going to be able to run the football. I don't think they're going to be able to rely on anything besides maybe broken plays from Laura Sellers and chunk plays. Give me LSU. Hopefully it's close until the end.
Why do you want it to be close?
I don't know. So the audience that I have to cater to for 5 days out of the week has something to believe in?
I don't know, man. I think you'd want them to be angry.
I don't know. I don't like anybody's angry, especially you. But I'll take LSU to cover.
I am want to get angry from time to time. Yeah, I like LSU. We've talked about it a good bit. We've picked it a lot of different places. By the way, Chris and I did a crossover episode of Locked On Gamecocks and Locked On LSU. So it's about 30 minutes of he and I breaking down this game. So if you want to check it out, I would prefer you to go watch or listen to Locked On LSU, but you can follow Locked On Gamecocks.
I need the views. He doesn't.
That's such a relative term. I mean, we all need it. We're all aiming or striving for something there. All right, go read his stuff at LouisianaSports.net. Follow him on Twitter at. Are we still Vern Dumquist?
Vern_Funquist.
We're back to it.
We're back to it. I think it's been good luck.
Sure.
I had my year anniversary on Twitter. Have not been kicked off yet.
How many Twitter accounts have you lost?
We're on number 4. Lucky number 4, baby.
Vern_Funquist. Give him a follow. He's Chris Marler. Okay, thank you. We have to go talk to Dari Nowkhah now. That is Chris Marler. It's After Further Review. Thank you for being here with us. We are live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out a quick break, and we'll visit with Dari Nowkhah of the SEC Network when we come back here. It's AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com. I know we're going into the weekend, but if you have an issue with your AC or your heater, call River City's 1 Hour Air because they work nights, holidays, and weekends. So you don't have to wait till Monday to get on somebody's list to get your unit fixed. They'll come out on the weekend. Also, if you have not done it yet, pre-season heater safety check. Mention the show. They'll give you $30 off, but it is so important you do this before the first cold snap, before you turn on your heater. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, 752-0001 or 1hourbr.com, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Not only presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar, today we are live on this Football Friday from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Thrilled to have Dari Nowkhah from ESPN and the SEC Network join us. You can get him on Twitter at ESPN Dari, always one of our favorites. Yo, man, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm just, getting ready to knock out a little SEC now tonight with Doring and Watson, but I think I might rather be where you are right now after hearing that.
Yeah, vibes are good on a Friday. Beautiful weather. Temps tipping into the well, it's actually 80 right now, but it was like 62 this morning, which is downright frigid for these parts, and you got a good SEC battle. Yeah, man, it'll be great this weekend. But Dari, I want to start actually with something probably nearer and dearer to your heart, which is the Red River rivalry this weekend. I have no idea what to think of this. Like, none. And the line has moved back and forth with Texas and OU being favored. Is Mateer going to play? Is he not? You can never figure out this game anyway. So give me your sense here inside of 24 hours from this game on what you're thinking.
My sense is that he plays. My sense is that he starts. I don't think Brent Venables can rightfully have John Mateer available. And by moving him to probable last night on the availability report, I think that you have to assume he's available and not play him in this game. I think that would almost be coaching malpractice if John Mateer is standing on the sidelines while Michael Hawkins Jr., no offense to him, is running the show for Oklahoma's offense against Texas in this game. So that said, I think he'll obviously give Oklahoma a boost if his hand is able, and I'm going to assume that his hand will be able. I think this comes down to, can Texas protect Arch? And I don't think they can. I think that Oklahoma defense, which is arguably the best in America, comes at him from all angles, leaves him completely off balance, leaves him completely unsettled in the pocket and, frankly, outside the pocket, and makes life a living hell for Arch. I think that defense is that good. I think that their offensive line is that suspect. And while Oklahoma's offensive line isn't very good either, I just think they're able to make enough plays offensively to allow their defense and their special teams to win this football game. So low scoring, the over-under makes sense to me. I do think Oklahoma ends up coming out with a win, but it's because of that defense.
Which is, in this series, Dari, then we should probably expect like a 46-42 Texas win, right? Because right. This is the weirdest thing ever to try to figure out is this game. I never bet it because and this is one of the more confusing opportunities that I can't even remember in this series. Do you have one game in the Red River rivalry that stands out to you for one reason or another that's maybe most meaningful, impactful or memorable for you?
Well, the first one I was at, Matt, but you would never think it would be. Oklahoma in 1996 was 0-4, okay? Texas was ranked in the top 25. It was John Blake's first year in Norman. They'd lost 7 straight games overall. They were a nightmare. I was a sophomore, junior in college. First one I went down there with my buddy. We're supposed to get drilled. We're like 21.5-point underdogs. Down 11, 6.5 minutes to go. Punt return touchdown. Get a stop. Get a field goal, and we're all of a sudden find ourselves in overtime and Oklahoma against Texas. Hold them to a field goal, and then James Allen, who 2 years before had been stuffed at the goal line trying to go in for the win by a Texas lineman named Stoney Clark, ends up plunging in to the end zone for the win. We were 1-4, yet celebrated at the Cotton Bowl and at the fair as though we just won the national championship. I'll never forget it, man.
Shout out to Stoney Clark. Stoney
Clark.
I have done this show, Dari, for 15 years, and I can assure you there are not a lot of firsts. That is a first Stoney Clark reference ever on this show. It'll probably be the last.
I'll tell you who Oklahoma's quarterback was. It was Justin Fuente. So,
okay. Became the head coach at Memphis, Virginia Tech. Yeah.
Yep, that's right. And now he's working with the college football playoff.
Okay. But you see, Dari, that's a beautiful example of exactly what I'm talking about. Whatever you think in this game should be the logical approach, go the other way, which probably terrifies 100%. You. Which probably terrifies you.
It does. It does. It absolutely does. Now, we don't know anything. I mean, we think we do, but all of a sudden, Texas will protect Arch. He'll throw for 5 touchdowns, and they'll win in a rout. I mean, it is the most unpredictable game I can think of annually almost in college football. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. And the other one, too, Dari, and look, tomorrow is just one of these, tasty slates that you wait for. It's why I love October. You get into the meat of conference races and you have some real things to dive into. Alabama, Missouri for me is fascinating because Missouri on paper looks like one of the best teams in the country, but objectively you look at who they played and you go, I don't know if any of this is real. Alabama's looked really good the last 2 weeks. However, I see real flaws with that team as well, notably their run defense, and Missouri can really run the ball. So I'm like, is Missouri actually going to go trip up Alabama in this spot? I mean, it feels like it's plausible, but it's hard to pick. I think they do. I think they are able to run over there. I love Ahmad Hardy. Matt, I think if you look around this league, 1-2 punch in the transfer portal this offseason, Missouri got it. They got the best 1-2 punch in the portal this season. The best, most impactful duo to their football team is Bo Pribula and Ahmad Hardy. Hardy's the real deal, but it's not just him. It's the scheme that they use. It's that, the outside zone scheme we talk about. That's why Drink went and got him. He's like, same thing with Nate Noel last year. We run a scheme. He runs a scheme. He worked great for us. We run a scheme. UL Monroe runs a scheme, same one. Ahmad Hardy works great for us. And it's not just him. It's Jamal Roberts, their number 2, is almost as dangerous. Maybe a little faster, but still physical. No, they can run the ball. They can run the ball. They can throw the ball. And defensively, they probably don't get enough credit because of who they played. I like Missouri. I like them. I like the early kick. I like it being in Como. I like Missouri tomorrow.
Okay. Your lips to God's ears, Dari. Please. Your lips to God's ears. He's on Twitter at ESPN Dari. Hey, is Texas A&M for real?
Starting to think so, man. I'm starting to believe so. That defensive front, they lost a lot of pieces, obviously, to the NFL. I mean, 3 key pieces to the NFL. And and all of a sudden, I mean, they look like, they're not as good, but they've regrouped pretty darn well. Great 1-2 punch at receiver. We talk about the duo that comes in, and when you look at Craver and Concepcion, Reed looks really, really good at quarterback, comfortable there. So, yeah, I'm kind of starting to think so. Like, it's hard not to think of them and think, they'll crash like they did under Jimbo. They'll crash like they did under Kevin Sumlin. I don't know. This feels a little different to me. I don't know. Do they to you?
So when we were at Media Days, I picked A&M as my surprise team because I loved them on the line of scrimmage. What you just said, what they had coming back on the offensive line, 3 running backs, a quarterback that acts really as a 4th runner as well. So I picked them to lead the SEC in rushing. But, Dari, I picked them 9-3. So I picked them to break through from the 8-4 malaise, but not an 11-1, 10-2 type team. I stopped short of that and put them at 9-3. And I don't know, maybe I undervalued them a little bit because, man, if they win on Saturday, they're going to get Florida before they come to Baton Rouge. They'll likely be 7-0 coming to Baton Rouge for what would be an absolute epic night in Tiger Stadium. If LSU cooperates the next 2 weeks, well, they got to beat South Carolina and Vandy. But if they cooperate, and these two teams, I mean, that's a top 10 matchup in Tiger Stadium with LSU and A&M. That would be phenomenal in 2 weeks. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I look at LSU. I'd like them to keep winning. I love that game in Norman to be for, with a whole lot on the line at the end of the regular season. I think that'd be fantastic, too.
I think LSU's path, and we'll finish. I'll get your thought on LSU, South Carolina. But I think LSU's path, as down as people are after the Ole Miss loss, you're favored by 9.5 at home. You're going to be a road favorite at Vandy. And if somehow you manage to win those 2 and then beat A&M, you go into November off your bye with 4 games, home games against Arkansas and Western Kentucky, which are manageable. So it leaves you 2 road games at Bama and then at OU. And the feeling for LSU has to be if you can get to November with 1 loss, you split those road games, then you're going to be 10-2 and in the playoffs. So I think there's at least an outside shot that both LSU and Oklahoma are playing that game, that final play-in date, with a playoff spot on the line. I think that's a pretty good chance that happens.
Which would be absolutely incredible. But, I'm now doing a daily radio show, with an Oklahoma audience, and I've had to remind them over and over again that this ain't the Big 12. And in the Big 12, you beat Texas, you kind of roll, the snowball all the way to the college football playoff. You clear that hurdle, you're good to go. I think Oklahoma's got 5 teams on their schedule that are tougher than Texas. So this is just one little skip and a jump in a world of hurdles. So I know frankly, LSU and Oklahoma both have a long way to go, I think, before we get to that point. Yeah. But it would be special that night in Norman.
Yeah. Sure. After Texas, OU is at South Carolina, but then it's number 4 Ole Miss, at number 12 Tennessee, at number 8 Alabama, home against 14th ranked Missouri, home against 11th ranked LSU. Which why, Dari, I picked OU 7-5 this season, not because I didn't necessarily believe in Mateer. I looked at the schedule. I was like, I don't know how they navigate this. So I think they'll certainly be better than 7-5. The defense is outstanding, and Mateer has been really better than I thought he was going to be. But that schedule is horrendous. I mean, it's a bear. So give me, before you go, and I appreciate your time, man, a thought, if you would, on LSU and South Carolina, which you think we see Saturday night in Tiger Stadium.
I can't figure out either team, to be quite honest with you. I'm just waiting for LSU's offense to get rolling. It sounds like Caden Durham will be back. They've got receivers everywhere. I'm just waiting for, at some point, that offense to pop. And if it does, they're going to be really, really dangerous the rest of the way. We talk about it, night game at Tiger Stadium. South Carolina's been a little bit inconsistent offensively. I like LSU. I've heard from a lot of people that think South Carolina can go in there and maybe get this one. I'm not one of those people. Matt, I'll take LSU. I just want to see that offense pop, though. And when it does, look out, because that might be a snowball rolling downhill, too.
It would be a lot of fun to see, and I see that glimpse on Saturday night. He's on Twitter at ESPN Dari. I'll give him a follow. Watch him on SEC Now this evening and every night. Dari, we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yep, you got it, Matt. Have a great weekend, man.
All right, you too, buddy. We'll see you. Always appreciate Dari for his time. Dari, we had Jordan Rodgers last hour. Phil Steele was here in hour one. Tons of great college football talk. I'm going to knock out a break, come back, and I want to give you a final preview and prediction on Saints and Patriots. Can New Orleans make it 2 in a row? Look, if you're getting out to the Dome, remember Rouse's. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's helping you cover the spread, not the point spread, your tailgate spread all year long. So if it's your Saturdays out in Baton Rouge at Tiger Stadium, or if it's Sundays heading to the Dome, or if you're just home gating or your game watch parties, Rouse's can help you out with everything you need. Your beer, your bourbon, all your other beverages, your party platters, your tailgate trays. They got everything for you. And, of course, you making groceries, they can help you do that. They've been doing that for 65 years. Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home. All right, y'all, we are at Don Juan Cigar Bar. Couple of segments to go. I'll give you a pick on Saints Pats when we come back. Then I'll give you my final preview and prediction on LSU and South Carolina as we roll along on a Football Friday edition of AFR Live from Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Excited to tell you, and now you'll start to get to see these pop up around town, which is really cool. They've announced the winners of the Get Gordon Billboard Design Contest. So big shout out to the winners, the first, second, and third place, Madeline LeBlanc, Amy Gonsolin, Christine Cousins. But they've also shared some other ones. As a matter of fact, the Kids Billboard Design Contest, Layla Weir from Lafayette. Shout out to Brianna Zhu, Suri Dong, and Kenzie Hebert for the Kids Billboard Design Competition winner. So awesome. They'll get highlighted. You'll get to see some of these pop up on billboards around the state, which is really cool to see as well. So you know what to do. You've been injured in an accident. Get Gordon and get it done.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builders Pool.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Trust isn't given, it's earned by showing up, leading the way, and performing at your best when it matters most. Our Lady of the Lake sports medicine experts know what it takes to improve performance and build champions at every level. That's why LSU chose Our Lady of the Lake as its championship health partner, trusting Louisiana's best medical team to care for our state's best athletes. From championship athletes to everyday champions, trusted care starts here.
I trust the lake.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, They've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Yeah, the red zone, I got to do a better job there. I think, obviously, I'm going to spend a lot of the back end of this week really digging into that, and that's as our game plan sequence works. Red zone will fall into the back end of this week, and so I think a lot of it, we're putting ourselves in unfavorable situations because we're not good enough, and as far as executing and sequencing plays on first and second down, we're falling ourselves into 2 poor third downs, and so I think a lot of times, if you're 3rd and 10 from the 10, you guys can go look up those stats. They're not very good. You're not going to convert a whole lot. And so what we do on first and second down has to be better. I got to sequence them better and put ourselves in better situations.
Penalties have hurt as well. Last week you had 1st and goal from the 7. Torricelli Simpkins false start. All of a sudden you're at the 12 and you end up getting behind the sticks and you end up kicking a field goal. So Kellen Moore talking about the Saints in the red zone where they got to be better. And there's a lot of ways that they have to be and can be better, and they'll need to be better in order to beat New England in the Dome on Sunday. It's interesting with the Saints and the Patriots because coming into this season, the way we sort of looked at it, it was going to be really hard for the Saints to win any of the first 4 games, but the opportunity was going to come with those back-to-back home games against the Giants and the Patriots, 2 teams with we didn't know if Dart would be starting at the time, but you figured potentially young quarterbacks, teams that were entering the season right around where New Orleans was as far as your projected win-loss totals. And getting those games at home felt like good opportunities. The Saints did, in fact, beat the Giants. But you look at New England, and very similar teams coming into this season with, they failed to win more than 5 games a year ago. And young quarterbacks, first-year head coaches with their team. Vrabel, of course, was a successful head coach at Tennessee. But they've obviously, through the first month of this NFL season, operated at sort of different speeds. The Saints started 0-4, tripping over themselves in their first couple of games at home. They were embarrassed at Seattle. We all kind of gave them a back pat for a moral victory for a, air quotes, close loss at Buffalo, which gives you context on these Saints. You gave up 31 points and lost by 12, and we're talking about a close loss. And context matters, I understand, but you come home and you beat the Giants, you're 1-4. The flip side of it is New England sitting here at 3-2, and they went to Buffalo and beat soundly that Buffalo team we're just talking about that beat the Saints soundly. Now, the transitive property doesn't work in sports. You can't say, well, the common opponent thing where, the Saints or Buffalo beat the Saints and New England beat Buffalo, therefore. But you can deduce certain things about how teams are progressing, and the reality is, whereas Spencer Rattler has avoided big mistakes, 6 touchdowns, just 1 interception through 5 games, Drake May has been explosive. He's been a reason that New England has won games instead of just not being the reason that they're losing, like is the case with Spencer Rattler in New Orleans. May's thrown for over 1,200 yards already, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's been effective and efficient. He's completing more than 70% of his passes so far this year. So it's an interesting test case for New Orleans to compare yourself to New England, because you entered this season on paper very similarly, and New England very clearly has surpassed where you are through 5 games. This is a game on Sunday that'll be very interested to see how Spencer Rattler does throwing the football, in particular if Christian Gonzalez is limited or unavailable. The New England Patriots are very likely going to be shorthanded in the secondary. We mentioned Christian Gonzalez already being limited. We'll see what that means there. Keon White's going to be out, defensive end. Their safety, Jalen Hawkins, has already been ruled out with a hamstring injury. So you'll have a limited New England defense coming in, but you have a New Orleans Saints offense that just quite honestly has not been very good this year. This is just an objective fact. You're 14th in the NFL in rushing offense, and you're 25th in passing offense. When it comes to scoring, actually affecting the scoreboard, you're 28th out of 32 teams, averaging 18 points a game. 18 isn't going to be enough to beat New England Sunday in the Dome. So you're going to have to find a way to generate more offense than you've been able to do so far throughout the course of this season. I'll be interested to see about Alvin Kamara, his availability. Maybe we see more of Kendre Miller. And on the flip side of it, the New Orleans Saints defense hasn't been very good. You're 24th in the NFL in scoring defense with allowing 27 points a game. And you came up with the big day turning over the Giants on 5 consecutive possessions. But in a game where you forced 5 consecutive turnovers, you won that game 26-14. So it was hardly a runaway and hide situation. And you've still got a real issue on your hands with Blake Grupe. And this isn't just throwing dirt on him. It's the fact that he's missed 5 kicks in 5 games. And he's 10 out of 15 on the season. That's 66%. That doesn't play in the NFL. When you have scoring opportunities, you have to convert scoring opportunities. And as we talked about with Kellen Moore there at the start of this segment with being better in the red zone, so too hand in hand does that go Blake Grupe converting on kicks when you have the opportunity to impact and affect the scoreboard. I am going to be very interested in one matchup in particular with the Saints defense and the Patriots offense, and that's the return of Chase Young. Because the Saints defense, especially in the secondary, at corner, I do not believe is outstanding. And Kool-Aid McKinstry, despite the 2 interceptions last week, I thought struggled. He had a bad PI. He got big boyed on the touchdown by the Giants tight end. The 2 interceptions he got, one was effectively a punt, and the other was a ball that was nowhere near the receiver. It was a bad throw by Jackson Dart. So we've seen Kool-Aid McKinstry struggle at times this year. Now you're going to have to go up against Stephon Diggs. I mean, if you fancy yourself as a number 1 cornerback in the NFL, every week you're drawing the assignment of facing the opponent's number 1 receiver, and most teams in the NFL have a number 1 receiver. And so, we're going to have to see how Kool-Aid McKinstry continues to develop in that role, because when you look at the PFF grades defensively, the overall grades, Kool-Aid McKinstry is down near the bottom. His overall grade so far in the season through 5 games is a 59. His tackling grade's a 47. His coverage grade is sitting there at a 61. So you would love to see Kool-Aid McKinstry play better, and here's a good opportunity to see if he can do it. But the way that you can assist your secondary is with a pass rush. So, I mean, what's a great way to play sort of symbiotic defense is a pass rush to affect the quarterback can help your secondary. So Chase Young coming back against rookie left tackle Will Campbell is a matchup to watch to see if Chase Young, who was one of the tops in the NFL a year ago in pressures, not in sacks, but in pressures, can help affect Drake May, move him off his spot, maybe force some errant throws. And then, of course, New England is going to be, in a situation with their running game with Antonio Gibson unavailable with the knee injury. Who's the next man up for New England running the football? I think when I look at this game, New England has the better coach in Mike Vrabel. I don't even know that that's debatable. And they have the quarterback that has made more explosive, dynamic, winning plays. And I have real questions about the Saints defense. I have questions about Blake Grupe. It was so nice to see the Saints get a win last week, and I've kind of been on it with this team. I picked them to lose each of the first 4 weeks they did. I picked them to beat the Giants last week. Actually, almost nailed the score. I picked it 26-14 or 26-16, and ended up 26-14. I was right on it. And I think the Saints come up short in this one again. I just don't know that they're in a position yet as an organization and as a team to make enough winning plays to beat good teams. And I think New England has proven with their win in Buffalo, they are a good football team that is far ahead in their rebuild than New Orleans is. I think it's a close game in the Dome, but I am going to pick the Patriots. I think New England wins a close one at 26-23 is the final that I've nabbed. So give me New England to beat the Saints in the Dome 26-23. All right, it's After Further Review. We're live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. We'll knock out our final break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up. I'll give you a final thought and score prediction on LSU and South Carolina. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Our friends over at Duplessis Builders are doing awesome work, man, and I'm so proud to be associated with Derek and the great team at Duplessis Builders. Yes, they can build you that gorgeous custom pool, outdoor kitchen. They can even do putting greens at your house if that's what you want to do, basically turning your outdoor space, your backyard space into an outdoor oasis, your own private resort when you walk out your back door. Duplessis Builders can do all of that. But they also have a pick your pool option at the website. So if you go to duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net, if you want a more cost-effective option to build your own pool, Duplessis Builders has that. There's about 10 or 11 different pool models that you can build. You pick your finishings, and you can see what it will cost you right there. And there's a pool option for any budget. Like, seriously. And they offer financing. So don't think you can't afford a pool. Duplessis Builders has an option for you. duplessisbuilders.net. Check them out online. Do it right now. It's duplessisbuilders.net.
Need security services you can count on? With Veteran Security Services, you're always protected. Locally owned and proudly serving the Gulf Coast, they're not some big national firm chasing profits. They're neighbors protecting neighbors. From petrochemical plants and healthcare facilities to port and maritime operations, Veteran Security delivers reliable protection you can trust. Choose community. Choose confidence. Choose Veteran Security Services. Visit veteransecurityfirm.com.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Hi, this is Beth Tarina. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Stretch we come, final segment here on a Friday edition of AFR. We are presented by and live from Don Juan Cigar Bar. Hey, next Friday we're going to be in Nashville doing the show from Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places, all courtesy of our friends at Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, Our Lady of the Lake in LSU, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake in LSU, they're fond of saying, together we roar. We appreciate our friends at OLOL so much, and we're very much looking forward to the opportunity to be in Nashville next week. We'll also be presented by Veteran Security Services. So thanks so much to our sponsors that'll make our trip to Nashville possible next week. So we'll be live in Nashville 1 week from today at Garth Brooks' Friends in Low Places. If you're making the trip or know LSU fans in Nashville, it'll all be in conjunction with the LSU Alumni Association. Our coverage, again, brought to you by Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics, and Veteran Security Services. All right, LSU in South Carolina, Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. I know LSU has just been chewing on the Ole Miss loss now for 2 weeks, and everyone's ready to see if this offense maybe can break out. Is Garrett Nussmeier closer to health after they shut him down during the bye week? Can the Tigers get the run game going? Do we see more of Karius Kern? What we haven't talked about really is LSU's defense, because at this point, that's a known commodity. If you watched the Ole Miss game, look, you can look at a box score and see 480 yards or whatever it was, but if you watch that game, LSU's defense did an outstanding job. They were just dragging because they were on the field for 84 plays. The offense did a terrible job of running the football, trying to possess the football and playing a complementary style, and that's because they threw it 34 times and ran it 22. We've been over it a million times. By now, you know all the numbers. The question is, as you move through this game and through the remainder of the season, is LSU playing to win games or are they playing to win a championship? You can roll your eyes and laugh at that all you want, but you have a championship caliber defense. We would all agree on that. And you have a championship caliber special teams unit. You have a quarterback that in an SEC season threw for 4,000 yards, and you have skill guys everywhere that have proved they're not maybes. It's not off-season hype. They have done it at this level. The one component you do not have playing at a high level is your offensive line, and it's what we've talked about all offseason. This is an opportunity against another league opponent, like 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss, to prove that you're making progress. The key to whatever LSU might be playing for in November is that offensive line continuing to get better. Can they do it against South Carolina? For me, what I want to see when this game is over is I want to open up the box score, and I want to see a 50-50 distribution of run and pass. Because if LSU commits to running the football, and I'm not saying they got to go run for 180 yards. What I'm telling you is if they make a commitment to running the football and make South Carolina or whoever they play respect it, respect the possibility that they will run the football, then teams are not going to be able to drop 7 or 8 into coverage. And all of this works together in tandem. If now you have to bring the linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage, you can't play too high safety, you can't drop 7 or 8 into coverage, now all of a sudden Garrett Nussmeier has cleaner passing lanes. One of your outstanding receivers, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, Berrien Brown, Xavier Thomas, whoever it is going to find themselves in man coverage. Trey'Dez Green. And I like those guys' opportunity to win one-on-one matchups against overmatched secondaries. And Ole Miss was an overmatched secondary. Ole Miss gave up 500 yards of offense to Arkansas. And there were plays to be made. We've gone through plenty of them where LSU had plays to be made down the field and they didn't make them. But I think a big reason why they didn't, you can blame Nuss's health or whatever. I'm not here to have that conversation. We've had it plenty. But you've got to give Nussmeier time to throw. You've got to give him clean passing lanes because he's proven throughout his career he's capable of doing that. Now, that's the big picture. This game in particular is a pretty easy one to handicap because if you're looking at this and going, man, why is LSU with that offense a 9.5-point favorite, then you have not watched South Carolina play. I have, and they are bad. A year ago, that team had an outstanding defense with NFL players on it. Kyle Kennard was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's gone. Tonka Hemingway was a really good interior defensive tackle. He's in the NFL. Nick Emenwari was a top 50 pick in the NFL draft. Like, you have NFL talent on that defense a year ago for South Carolina that's no longer there. And you have an offense that has not figured out how to replace Rocket Sanders. And then you also are down 3 starting offensive linemen in this game against LSU against a very good, explosive, athletic front. For all the conversation about Lenora Sellers, and I joke and call him Rex Bex and all that sort of stuff. At 6'3", 240, we know he's a freak athlete. He's an outstanding athlete. But the reality is with Lenora Sellers, he has never been a consistent passer. He's got a big arm. He's never been a consistent passer. And when teams are selling out to stop him from beating with his legs, he hasn't been able to do it. Lenora Sellers on the season through 5 games has rushed for 98 yards. Now he's got more than 100 yards lost in sack yardage, but he's got 1 rushing touchdown. It was the first offensive possession of the season for South Carolina against Virginia Tech. He scored a rushing touchdown, has not scored a rushing touchdown since. And I don't know that a night game in Tiger Stadium against that LSU defense is the remedy for what ails you offensively if you're South Carolina. I think this is a game where if Carolina is affecting the scoreboard, it's because they're able to do it with their defense and their special teams, which they're very good at. They have 6 non-offensive touchdowns on the season, which is why they're even ranked 100th in the country in scoring offense because of their non-offensive touchdowns. So I don't think Carolina is going to be able to move the ball effectively, efficiently, and challenge LSU. But I'm also not going to pick LSU to do that either. I'm at this point where after you weren't able to move the ball against a bad Ole Miss defense, I have to see you do it before I pick you to do it. They have the athletes on the outside and the quarterback that have proven they can, but until you do this year, I'm not picking you to do it. I think LSU wins this game, and I do think they win it by double digits, but I don't think it's going to be this score fest like we might be hoping to see. Give me LSU 27-17 to beat South Carolina in Tiger Stadium, and they'll head to Nashville next week to take a crack at Vandy on the road. All right, that'll do it for us here live from Don Juan Cigar Bar in Town Center. Hey, Don Juan is going to be with Bocock tomorrow outside the Tiger Stadium near the PMAC. Make sure you check him out then. Alondra on site, great job as always. Moose, Cassie back in studio. Thank y'all. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday at 3.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Arco Power Systems, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. That's ARCCO, arco.com for Arco Power Systems. I mean, they're an outstanding business, and you may not have heard of Arco Power Systems until we've started talking about them here, but when you learn about Arco, you realize how impressive this business is. They sell, install, service generators that are built for businesses. At Arco, they like to say, our business is your business. They work 24/7 during disasters. Think about for a moment your business. Think about what a loss of power means for your business. At Arco Power Systems, they make sure your business keeps running during the storm or during the power outage. They make sure roads are working, phones, dispatchers for 911. Life continues through any event, and Arco Power Systems make sure that you stay online. It's turnkey service, so be proactive. They sell, they lease, they service industrial generators. It's arco.com. Arco.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Every winner knows a great play starts with a solid game plan and the right team by your side. At Sunshine, we're here to keep your operation running strong. From tractors to harvesters, we've got the John Deere equipment you need to tackle every job with confidence. Because when the work's done right, there's more time for the things that matter, like cheering on your favorite team. Make Sunshine Quality Solutions part of your playbook this season and learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
Tiger Country is 100.7 The Tiger. In the car on 100.7 FM or on the 100.7 The Tiger app. 90s country and beyond. 100.7 The Tiger.